energy, but my heart won't break. I won't let it now. Only with the lights out will I ever give up again. I go dancing with my friends when you let me down. Someone tell the night sky that I never wanted to bend. Now my heart won't break, it bends. You're underneath now. I go stolen my energy, but my heart won't break. I won't let it now. Only with the lights out will I ever give up again. I go dancing with my friends when you let me down. Someone tell the night sky that I never wanted to bend. Now my heart won't break, it bends. You're underneath now.
Welcome this evening, ladies and gentlemen, to the St. Clair Nexus. I'm your host, Patrick Smoke Chambers, and today we have NACE Week 4 of the Super Conference for Call of Duty, Part 1 of what is going to be a doubleheader tonight with a little more Overwatch as well. I'm joined on the desk by Evan and Zero. Guys, how are we feeling today?
I'm excited, Smoke. Like you said, it's Part 1 of a doubleheader with Overwatch tonight. Hopefully, both teams can do their business tonight and get the job done, and hopefully it'll be a nice night for St. Clair all around.
I'm pretty excited for this one, honestly. St. Clair has been on a rampage since the season has started. They have gone 3-0, so I don't see anything really changing here for St. Clair. I think they're just going to keep continuing to trounce through their opponents until tournament time. So,
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, again, when we talk about COD, right, for this school, it's probably one of the best formats one of the best esports teams that we have right now on the table, right? With the team being CWADS, KB, Rupert, Bendy, and Cootie. I know that we were told earlier tonight, Cootie unavailable for tonight, so we're going to finally see Bendy get a little bit of action as well. And I think it's going to be very interesting to see what roles they fill him in with, if they're willing to switch, if we want to see Bendy on that SMG, or if we're going to then move one of CWADS and KB to fill that role instead and have Bendy on more of a standard AR role. It's going to be very interesting, but to be fair, Cootie's also listed as a fill, so these guys are pretty flexible, and when we're dealing with the competition we are tonight, I mean, you even were just talking to Chris just quickly as you saw him in the washroom, and he said it's just a matter of how much we troll. So that's quite a strong message.
Yeah, it is a really strong message, but that's the vibe that the Call of Duty team has sort of been giving the entire season. I mean, like, they play with confidence, they know how strong they are, and they play like they are that guy, right? And I fully expect, like Brennan was saying earlier, I fully expect complete domination tonight. West Virginia has struggled in NACE this season. They have yet to get a win in the Super Conference so far. So on paper, it looks like it should be a fairly easy St. Clair sweep for tonight. But again, anything can happen, right? It depends on, like you said, how much they're going to be trolling tonight. Hopefully, though, they lock in and get their business done. I told them, please, because we have another show to do later, so please try and make this one quick for us. But we'll see what happens. Should be fun either way.
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, I think for once I'm not going to do a 3-1 prediction. I think I will definitely be wrong today if I do that, so I'm going to stick with the 3-0 today.
I think that's safe.
Yeah, I
safe
mean,
bet.
It's really, really insane how dominant, right, these guys are as we look to the team screen as the boys just warming up, chilling out. Right now on hardpoint, if my math is actually correct, St. Clair right now, 750 to 299. That's that's more than double, right? I mean, the amount of points that they're even allocating. They've won 3 hardpoint games, and they've just given up just over the amount that it takes to win 1, right? So, I mean, that just goes ahead and shows you how good of a hardpoint team this COD team really is. These guys are damn near flawless. They are so good at holding each other on the crosses, and the rotations, I think, are what sets them apart from everybody else. You can look on that mini-map as you guys are casting tonight. You will see how organized they are when a hard point is moving, where their positions are, and where they're ready to take crossfire gunfights at.
And that's just the sign of a really well-built team and a team that has a lot of chemistry. And we've seen that time and time again, that these guys work so well together. They're scrimming together all the time. I mean, like, they have, like, championship caliber talent, right? Like, we've seen this before. And with the way they've been playing in NACE so far, I mean, like, there's no reason to say that they can't reach that plateau again this season. I mean, this is another small step in that journey, but good teams find a way to win and take care of their business, and they should be able to take care of their business tonight.
The way St. Clair plays, it's aggressive but intricate. It's my mistake there. My brain just failed me. I had a word in my head, and it was gone very quickly. But
okay.
St. Clair will do that to you, their COD team, you know? They're just so breathtaking.
I think what maybe you were trying to say, it's aggressive and oppressive, I think might be a good word, where they just are able to get in there and just attack so aggressively, like we were saying. They're they push hard, they rotate quickly, and they just suffocate you. Like, you just can't get any breathing room on any lane during the map. And that's why Hardpoint is so successful, because these rotations come through so cleanly, because they're able to spawn trap. They know when spawns are flipping. They're just that good and that dominant. And again, like, the gun skill as well, like, that plays a big part of it too. It's all of these factors that really just make them the dominant team that they are.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, looking forward on to some other game modes we're going to be seeing here later tonight as well, I want to talk about Search and Destroy, right? A game mode that, again, sometimes people think COD team at St. Clair, and they're like, well, S&D, if it's anything, it's going to be their weaker mode. Interviewing these players, it's kind of one of their favorite modes. And seeing as how right now, as of NACE history so far, they are 18-4 this season on it, I don't think they're going to show any signs of slowing down anytime soon. I will say that 2 of those rounds were actually forfeited to last time's matchup that I was on the B stream for, LBCC, right? They took off 2 of the rounds on dealership. And the thing that me and Brendan, we were casting that noticed, was LBCC were so good at taking space early. They were actually contesting St. Clair in that aggressiveness, right? But the problem is St. Clair, they adapted immediately, and they just worked around them kind of like a bubble. And eventually, it just became, okay, we can't take these guys on head-on-head. If they want to rush in and take through mid on dealership, they can go ahead and do that. We're just going to work the outside and kind of choke them inwards. So it's really well done strategy from St. Clair on S&D. They are definitely not a team that you can just label them as, oh, they're only good at respawn game modes. Yes, well, it is the mode where you will see them drop a few rounds here and there. Again, they always have ways to get it done, and I think that really just shows you they do not crack under pressure, no matter what.
No, they don't. I think it's funny that, you talk about how good they are at S&D. When we did shoulder content interviews early in the season, what was the one varsity title that all the players said they would play if it wasn't Call of Duty? It was either like Valorant or CSGO, right? Or CS2, right? Like, it's all these like sort of tac shooters, and that's essentially what S&D is in Call of Duty. So these players already have that skill and that knowledge, to transfer all that into COD, and that just makes you a better player all around. And I mean, like you said, they're smart on the rotations, they take space aggressively when they need to, and it just leads to success.
Methodical. That was the word I was searching for earlier. The way these guys play is methodical, and watching them is almost like watching an orchestra, the way they orchestrate their moves, and they do like make up for things on the fly. Oh, this isn't working, we try this way instead. Suddenly, that S&D is a kill box for them, and they just always find a way to turn things around and make things go in their favor.
Absolutely. Well, as we see the coach giving fist bumps to the players, that's usually a telltale sign that we're starting to get underway. West Virginia, the lineup of Ethan, Y-Tables, Strike, and Noah up next with Taze. Pretty sure as a sub, as he's listed as a diamond player, is going to be the team for West Virginia tonight. But one last time, just from me, Brendan, you have 3-0 on the desk. Evan, you going to front that way as well?
I would, yeah. You'd have to be crazy to think otherwise.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's going to be a full sweep among the desk here, too. I think if there's going to be a team to take a map off of St. Clair in terms of COD, I just don't see West Virginia being that. Hearing from Prod that we have a couple of tech issues, and that's okay, because honestly, you were talking about being methodical, and I was going to say we got to bring up control as well. Again, we broke down 2 out of 3. We can't just leave one out. At the end of the day, it's probably going to be the final game mode that you guys are going to be casting for COD tonight if we were going to have it go in 3-0 fashion. So for control, guys, not to scare anyone, yeah, they're 9-0. They have not forfeited a single round. Again, remember, ladies and gentlemen, you can win control by capturing 2 objectives or by being the first to eliminate 30 team lives on the opposing side. So, again, last time they faced LBCC, they played control on Vault, and the number one thing that I saw that was so perfect is they did not slip up one time when taking building control in Vault to then aggress themselves into positions for the objectives that were usually located just outside of that main big building in the middle, right? So again, it was just the SMG players going in, making sure that they took care of things in close coordinated angles. The AR characters then, right, the AR players, then just basically spawn camped and just waited to make sure that no one could get back into that vault building. It was really well done, really well timed, and the rotations were perfect. And like you said, methodical, aggressive, oppressive, that's everything St. Clair is.
It absolutely is everything they are, and I think we're getting word that we are getting close to game time now. I think the tech issues have been solved, so I think we've teed up a pretty exciting match for St. Clair, but we're going to get it going on Hacienda Hard Point, the first map of this series with West Virginia. St. Clair looking to stay hot in the NACE Super Conference. Here we go.
Seawad's going in on the left here right away. He's going to try to apply some early pressure from that left side, but actually it's going to be WVU with the first kill, and they're going to be heading around to this hard point on the side. St. Clair is going to have to regain some pressure here to actually take this early if they want to.
Yeah, West Virginia making an early play on the hard point, filling up the kill feed with some blue names. Nothing you want to see if you're on the side of St. Clair, but the Saints easily able to rotate in and clear off the members of West Virginia on the hard point as they finally take control for a little bit now. 19 seconds left for this first hard point as Rupert still trolling around in the foyer, looking for more picks. Burt coming in, trying to take Fountain, but Seawads is going to take him out. The Saints continue to rack up score on the hard point, but West Virginia already there, but that's Rupert clearing out the garage, and the Saints already on the next hard point.
And hard point will now switch to a different spot. St. Clair is holding down the point lead already. They did take that pressure back right away, and they are also already on this new hard point as well, defending it to get some more points. WV really struggling here to put any pressure on St. Clair very early.
Well, this is a really hard point to retake, especially if you're holding that close angle like the Saints are doing right now. So West Virginia definitely has a lot of work to do if they want to try and recover here. That's Bendy trying to hold it down behind the car. He isn't going to get the kill as West Virginia does try and retake it, but Seawatt's coming in to keep his kill streak going. Saints still defending this hard point and doing it fairly easily. I mean, West Virginia is not putting on a whole lot of pressure besides sending one or two members in, and the Saints will take that. Like, it doesn't need to be that complicated as long as you're just racking up points.
You're absolutely right. And we're already 3 hard points down, and WVU here still under 10 points. They have not been able to have any control on these points, and St. Clair is just holding them out. They're just now going to pass the 10 mark as this new hard point turns in their favor. But will it matter? Rupert's already 7-3. He's gotten the kills early. The best on WVU is Ethan with 5 and 6. Let's see if either of them can compete win this kill feed title.
Yeah, White Table's doing some good work for West Virginia as well as they start to rack up some points. Saints trying to get this rotation through, but West Virginia doing a good job of holding off the members of St. Clair. Seawatt's finding another pick of his own to clear off any members, finding another one as well, as not enough as West Virginia back in control of the hard point. Saints now getting on it, trying to clear off all these members. The rotation does come through. Saints in control, but West Virginia already rotating to get to the next one.
Yeah, and it looks like West Virginia is going to be the first ones to this point, but that just means that St. Clair's going to use that as a kill box to try and push them off early. And Seawads suddenly bursting to the forefront with the KD ratio here, 12-2, and also the most time on point. He already has 40 seconds as we approach 100 points for St. Clair and only 40 for West Virginia.
Yeah, it's a great thing to point out. Seawatt's having a really solid game so far. The Saints are going to need him to keep the hot hand going as they look to win this first map here. They do cross the 100-point threshold now. Saints still firmly in control. Bendy just holding down the garage, trying to farm some more, but cannot finish off as 3 members of West Virginia come flying through the garage. But Rupert now, the onus is on him to try and keep it going as West Virginia trying to contest as much as they can to delay these points for St. Clair, but it does not matter as the rest of the team rotates in and the domination continues.
Absolutely. And St. Clair holding down a lot of this time here. West Virginia, the total amount of time they've held on point isn't even enough compared to Rupert's total as 52 seconds. He has more time on point than the entirety of West Virginia as a team.
Oh my God, Rupert, come on now. He makes it look too easy. That was a crispy 3K from Rupert to clear out Fountain. The Saints still firmly in control now and setting up these spawn traps to make life a living hell for West Virginia as that score keeps going up. Rupert, the lone man on the point, holding it down, but it does not matter as the rest of his team is holding it down and not giving West Virginia any opportunities to have breathing room and get close to that objective.
Absolutely. And Rupert does finally go down, so his reign of terror will end here, and West Virginia will get a little bit of a chance here if they can capitalize on it. Rupert suddenly changes places with Seawads, suddenly becoming the leader in time held on point. And here he's going to pick up one outside here, and he's going to come around to the side where this next hard point is going to be spawning.
Yeah, they just make it look so easy, as KB adding another one there, as well as the Saints right back in the driver's seat as Seawads taking the point. I think he did find that kill with the pistol from long range. That, again, Seawads just, he's having a legacy game to start today, folks. Keep an eye on him to keep the hot hand going, as Bendy now joining him in the garage to try and help him out. That trophy system keeping the West Virginia utility out of St. Clair's way, but West Virginia still by strike. Bendy, though, still holding it down. West Virginia really trying to push this site, but St. Clair
Down on time held, as well as Bendy with a whole minute on point as well. Is there any catching up for West Virginia here?
Well, if they're going to catch up, they're going to have to do it now. But KB is in a perfect spot to get those two members down. That's Ethan falling as well to Rupert. The Saints just in a perfect spot to delay these attempted pushes from West Virginia. All angles just cut off, and the rotations, like we were talking about in the pre-show, are just so clean from St. Clair. They just know the map so well. Seawads just adding on to the domination from St. Clair, and it is going to be it right after this point goes through. Domination from St. Clair on Hacienda, making it look easy, no sweat on anybody's forehead, and they like to keep it going in Search and Destroy coming up soon.
I want to point out two St. Clair players there right at the end. A 10-player kill streak and an 8-player kill streak. That is some fine round closing out on their part. They really held it down there for the end to end that round, and they seem to want that one over.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, Smoke, you're now out of host jail, so I think you got some thoughts about what we just saw.
Yeah, absolutely I do. I mean, it's interesting to see that Bendy is on the AR, and on a map like Hacienda, it makes sense, right? You're going to have him sitting in behind those rocks and behind the car inside of the garage, right? It allows for long sight lines, and same when you run KB and Seawads as well, controlling the outside and letting Rupert really have the building to his own, right? I mean, we talk about the 3K he had to clear out Fountain. Absolutely disgusting work from Rupert out there. Rupert Skywalker definitely had the force with him that time.
I heard
but
the music too.
These
playing,
guys, I was going to say, yeah, I think so as well. But now, as we move on to S&D, right? Rupert was going on an absolute tear. Same with Seawads. They were your big 2 kill leaders, and I honestly don't think that's going to stop anytime soon. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see KB get activated more on Search and Destroy, as that is typically some time where we see after you get that bomb down, then you have those long cross angles that you hold, and that allows for your AR players to really start picking off enemies as they come through the fray.
Yeah, we didn't really call KB's name too much, but those kills that he had were impactful. We might see it in the replay where it was later in the round where West Virginia's trying to push this garden hardpoint, and KB is in a perfect spot on the balcony to delay any chance of a West Virginia push. And those are the kind of kills that make a big difference in hardpoint, because even just one person pushing up and delaying, you know, or getting a kill and staggering out the rest of the rotation, that can be huge, especially for a momentum swing. So KB recognizing that and holding it down in the perfect angle, just great teamwork all around from St. Clair.
Yeah, that was absolutely fantastic. And like you said, they really held the point open so that Rupert could capitalize on that point and hold it down. He didn't have so much oppression because the rest of his team was just holding him off him that whole time. It was beautiful gameplay from St. Clair there, and I'm not surprised that that match ended so quickly.
Yeah, we see Cootie as well join them on the stage. I don't think that is Cootie. I think he might have been wearing a similar outfit, but somebody giving the team some support, showing some love to the Call of Duty team. We love to see that. They seem like they're having a good time tonight, Smoke.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought you were talking about the person on the end of the desk. I'm like,
No, that's
Brandon.
Brandon, bro.
I'm like,
I know
what
that's
are you,
Brandon.
What are you
Come
talking
on.
about? That's
No.
Brandon. That's the GOAT right there.
It's the GOAT, man.
I will
Oh,
say
no.
Cootie was definitely sitting there earlier with this team. Obviously not playing tonight, but definitely still there to support the team, sitting behind them. During the pregame, it was that he was back there, and just showing his support, and getting them in the game.
And that's what really matters, right? Like you said, these boys have a great camaraderie. They scrim together all the time. They're hanging out together all the time. They just work well as a unit, and it doesn't matter if the lineup is different or they try and mix things up. They still get results no matter what.
Yeah, absolutely. I think as Prod's just given me the word, pretty sure that we're going to be getting into game here in a few moments. That being said, let's just go individually on some S&D predictions as well. What do we have going into this next map? Me personally, St. Clair, they're known to drop rounds on S&D before. It's happened. But that being said, I will say give me 6-1 your scoreline.
I'm thinking something similar. I think, West Virginia was getting dominated pretty heavily on Hacienda map 1, but they do have some shooters on their side. I will give them some credit there, but I just don't think they're going to be able to match the firepower that the Saints bring to the table. And Rupert already getting things started, but West Virginia answering with 2 picks of their own.
I think this one's actually going to be 6-0. I don't think West Virginia takes a single round this game. For once, I'm going.
Well,
Okay.
well, West Virginia with a good start. I mean, I was going to say this could be a CWAD's legacy moment, but 'twas not to be as West Virginia takes the first round of Search and Destroy. I mean, I think St. Clair gave it their all, but like we were saying, West Virginia has some shooters on their side, and now they're just waiting and delaying the time, taking us out of the map and getting us a look at what's beyond the walls of Rewind. Or maybe, yeah, first round, actually, we're getting word from Prod, this first round might be bugged, so I think that's why we're getting a nice tour of the map, getting a look at things that you might not notice on your usual runs through this map, taking a look at the details that the devs are hard at work to put into the game for your enjoyment. But we'll figure out what the scoring looks like after this potentially bugged round.
I was going to say, I might have to start not predicting anymore. This is becoming a problem.
I guess it just depends on if it was a bugged round, if they count that for scoring, but I mean, it looks like they might just play this one out.
It seems to be that way. You're absolutely
Well,
right.
even if, giving West Virginia this one-round mulligan, I still don't think it's going to matter, as I think St. Clair is going to do their best to respond here, but Ethan's in a really good position, but it does not matter, as Rupert is going to beat him first. Does get traded out immediately after. CWAD's falling as well. Another round where 2 Saints go down early. It's going to be up to Bendy and KB to try and bring this one back.
Yeah, and it's very hard to get in here when you're already down 2 people. You have to be very cautious with your moves here, otherwise it's going to be a very fast round, not in your favor. And so that's why KB and Bendy taking their time, playing
Disgusting
methodically.
angle that KB has there. Doesn't fully find that kill, but that's valuable intel that the Saints have now, as Bendy and KB making this rotation out behind the video store. Bendy with some shots going through, can't find anything, but again, that intel, the Saints have found their prey and they're looking to strike. But Wide Tables does get the bomb down. West Virginia now has the post plant to work with. Trophy set up far. They're gonna try and hold this long angle, but KB on a massive rotation should be able to catch West Virginia asleep here. That flash is gonna connect because the trophy system cannot take it out. Bendy gonna defuse it, but KB, the hero of this round.
I was just about to say, this is a beautiful pinch from St. Clair coming in from both sides, and I thought it was actually going to be Bendy on the backside hitting them from behind, but it wasn't. KB just attacked from the front and went straight through.
Yeah, it was, like you said, it was a perfectly executed pinch here, as KB with just a massive flank. Lucky that trophy system was set up where it was, because that flash was so big in making that, those 2 picks come through. Without that, not sure if KB's able to swing both of those, and in a 1v2 situation for Bendy, that might have been tough, but the Saints are going to be thanking their lucky stars for that, as now that mulligan does not matter anymore. St. Clair tying it back up. Bendy with the bomb now.
The only thing that mulligan changed was my prediction. And Bendy putting on some early game pressure on this point, but he's getting hit a lot here. He is going to be able to survive that, though. And unfortunately, caught from behind, Rupert's going to be out of this early, and they are really fighting for this point here, trying to gain control. Seawad's holding this corner as long as he can, and now it's going to pay off as he gets in from behind there as well. And he's going to rotate around this bookshelf, and oh, he is going to go down right through the doorway, though. And very quickly, 2 down on each team. Bendy slowly, methodically moving his way in here. And where is KB here? He is just behind Bendy, I think. They're both moving as a unit, it looks like. Yep.
Yeah, smart. Trying to double stack there. Seawads, you know, it was a valiant effort. I appreciate the movement, but it just wasn't going to get anything done. As now St. Clair holding down this long angle on B. Don't think they have any. They have not put down a trophy yet. Bendy with some shots through on wide tables. Strike is down. It's all up to wide tables, and he does. Oh, he does finish off Bendy now. This is going to be a much tenser situation for KB. Can he be the hero once again? Shots go through, finds wide tables' toes, but not going to be enough to kill. Still in a good position behind the car, and he does find it. KB the hero once again. St. Clair take the lead.
St. Clair winning the 1v1, and that was an impressive angle under the truck there, shooting at the toes, as he said. And wow, what a round win. That came down to a dramatic end.
Yeah, KB, like we said, calm, cool, and collected for St. Clair once again, playing the hero. As West Virginia, you know, we said that this was going to be a pretty dominant round for St. Clair, but they've come to play. White tables especially, 4 kills for West Virginia right now, doing a lot to try and keep them in this series. But St. Clair, steady as she goes, and the lead is theirs.
Yeah, and it has been a lot closer than you think it would be. Each round, it seemed to be 2 people left, 1 person left on each team, and it has been a lot closer than we expected it to be. Seawad's here, coming in from the side as the rest of his team goes around. He's just going to hold that point down and wait for his turn. He's going to bide his time. Rupert is going to get the kill here, and that was a very fast round.
Rupert makes it look too easy with the sliding pick there. We should see it at the end. I believe that was the final kill. Oh, no, it was Bendy who's securing the final kill. But at the end of the day, it does not matter. Bendy with a disgusting angle on Ethan, using the car to his advantage. Another great start for St. Clair. That was the best round we've seen them play. It's West Virginia not able to find any footing there. St. Clair in the driver's seat. Going to keep this one going. They just have to make sure they don't over-aggress too much. Rewind has a lot of weird, close corners, especially in the video store. There are a lot of places where a defender might be hiding that you won't expect. So as long as St. Clair doesn't get, you know, doesn't try and troll too much here, like Chris was saying earlier, they should be able to secure this. 3-all for both sides now, as KB, the lone member on the Burger side, doesn't know that Ethan is lurking behind him, and that is going to cost him. As KB falls, West Virginia with the man advantage once again.
Suddenly detrimental here for St. Clair, as they're the ones that are down for once. And Bendy just holding down this room next to point. Gonna try and keep hold of that point as long as he can. He's gonna rotate around the back though, try to stop them from flanking as well. And Rupert's on the other side now as well.
No, you're right. Rupert in a great spot to try and get something done. Bendy finding another pick. So now it's a 2v2 once again. St. Clair still with possession. Big pick is now West Virginia down to their last member. It's all up to Ethan. Can't do it. St. Clair keep the train rolling with another easy round. But West Virginia once again proving to be a tough out in this S&D series. Rupert getting this final kill here. Does not matter if you slide into him. He will find you, and he will get that kill.
Absolutely. And as we go on here, it's already 4 rounds down for St. Clair. They have 2 to go. And it's starting to look very grim for West Virginia University here. They have had close rounds. They just have not been able to see it through at all. It's not that their attacks have been bad or the KD's bad. It's just been a matter of closing out these matches. They have not been able to finish off St. Clair in these rounds. And very quickly, Rupert is going to trade 3 for 1, and St. Clair is just going to sweep that round.
Yeah,
wow.
Blink and you miss it. St. Clair 1 round away from calling this S&D series done and dusted. Seawad's finally getting on the board. he gets this final kill. But you're right, the Saints just in a perfect spot, perfect trap. West Virginia did not expect that at all, making it look easy. That one-round mulligan definitely not coming back to haunt them. So now West Virginia, one last chance to try and keep the series going, but I think St. Clair is going to look to plunge the dagger here.
Yeah, that may have been the cleanest round of the game so far. It ended just as soon as it started, and St. Clair almost about to close this out. One more round win is all they need, and very quickly pushing in. Seawad's first blood on the HUD there.
Oh
Rupert
my God.
just mowing through these guys, and it's suddenly one person left. This is a round just as fast as the last.
Oh my God, it is
And oh wow.
absolutely surgical for the St. Clair boys. Rupert especially with that massive triple, dapping each other up after. Cootie is there now to, he's actually there now, Patrick, to support the team. But I mean, we saw some really quick rounds at the end there. It looked pretty dire at the start. It looked like they were a little slow those first couple rounds, but they really started to turn the heat up. Hi, Bendy. Yes, we see you too. But yes, they really started to turn the heat up after those first couple iffy rounds.
Right, and I mean, call it on me to say that I'm the prediction GOAT, because when I talked about score lines, right, I mean, listen, it came to, but what I'm more or less thinking about is what I talked about with KB. I told y'all, believe in this man. Search and Destroy goes on, and he simply becomes different with that aim. As, again, we talk about some crazy good plays, most notably in the 2v2, where we saw that there was a flank going around, and then through there was able to find the flashbang and the 2K as well. Really good stuff there on that post plant, just for one highlight, as, again, once this guy started, he really did not stop going.
No, and neither did the rest of the team. I mean, everybody had their moment to play hero in that one. You know, you talk about KB being the GOAT, but Rupert, look at this, just absolutely going Super Saiyan 4 in that final round, just mowing down West Virginia. And I mean, making it look easy. That is why Rupert is one of the big stars on this team.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no other really good way to put it. The guy is simply just too good sometimes. So much so to the point where, honestly, when BO7 comes out, I wouldn't be surprised if these guys go at it seriously enough. We could be seeing a couple of these guys potentially with some pro careers, if you will. And I wouldn't be very surprised. These guys have been grinders since day one, and it really is showing in the server.
Absolutely, and I mean, you talk about Black Ops 7. I think these guys are thinking about that beta right now. I think they want to clean this
isn't that
up
what,
and go
released tomorrow?
go play the beta. Yeah,
It's already out tonight,
if
right?
You, I think it's if you pre-order, it's out tonight. But I think for everybody, it's out tomorrow. But I think they're looking ahead. I'm pretty sure all the members of the team have pre-ordered already. We'll have to ask them about that
Probably
later.
makes sense.
But either way, they did well on S&D after what looked like a rocky start, and now with Control coming up, I mean, the Saints don't really like Control. We talked about how they're looking forward to Control being out of the competitive map pool, but they're pretty dominant on it, even though they don't like it.
Do you remember for what mode they wanted?
Was it Uplink they wanted
It
back?
was Uplink
Yes.
they wanted back. And honestly, I mean, I know it's not on topic, but with BO7 dropping soon and Uplink, if it was to come back and be put in the competitive scene, man, with those exosuits, you could come up with some pretty crafty plays. I remember back in the BO3 days playing Uplink with the boys after school. That was definitely some good fun. So that would be amazing to see what these four could do. Could you just imagine the
It's
passing
scary.
plays?
It's
It would
very
be
scary.
insane.
It's really scary to think about. I mean, the movement with like the Omni movement system in BO6, they're already pretty scary with that. So getting those guys, like you said, with exosuits coming back, ooh, it's really scary. It's really going to be scary to think about that.
I unfortunately have never been able to play Uplink. I did not know that game mode existed until about 10 seconds ago when you
Missed
said
out.
It's good. It's good.
But-
Hey, if you
Circling back to Control, they have been a dominant force on Control, and they're playing on a very familiar map on Hacienda as well. Let's talk predictions.
well, I mean, I think it's probably going to be a 3-0 here. I mean, they have yet to drop a map or a round in Control, so I think that's probably going to stay the same as we wait to get into Control. But yeah, I'm expecting full domination.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see it any other way. These guys can get it done through kills. These guys can get it done through objective. I think the number one thing that I want you guys to keep an eye out for as you're casting through Control is when each round ends, take a look at the untraded kills. Something that St. Clair is so good at when it comes to control is making sure that they do not let multi-kills go by the wayside. They're the ones creating them, and whenever someone on St. Clair dies, the kill gets traded out immediately. But they're also very good at playing completely composed, laid back, waiting for a lot of the enemies to go into their lines of sights rather than forcing those engagements. I'm telling you right now, look at the amount of untraded kills that are going to be going down for St. Clair. They usually dominate on that number, and that's really a big factor of why they win these control modes.
No, and you're absolutely right. We kind of got a good look at it in S&D as well, where one member of St. Clair would fall, and then usually like right there, somebody is swooping in
The comms
from
are
another.
crisp,
The
man.
comms are always crazy. You know, they're just, you know, so good at rotations, and they have that chemistry together. They know how the team works together. They know where everybody's going to be. And like you said, those untraded kills are so impactful, especially in a mode like Control where, you know, your lives matter, right? Like, it is a respawn mode, but it's a hybrid, right? Where, you know, you only have a limited pool. So, yes, you can afford to die a couple times, but you really have to keep an eye on that and make sure that you're there to support your man if he's in trouble and if he goes down.
Yeah, and those untraded kills is a big thing as well because every second counts. And when you go down in game modes where there's respawn, you go down, you're out for a few moments. That can make all the difference in some of these games. But circling back to predictions, I am not going to predict on this round. I have learned my lesson. Every time I predict, something bad happens. So I'm not going to jinx anyone this time.
Well, that's good to hear because I think the Saints are looking to finish this series off here. I mean, I like I said, I'm.
I mean, you're the ultimate caster curse when it comes
Why
to
would you
Rocket
say
League.
that? Oh, for Rocket League, okay.
Yeah,
well,
I was gonna say
hopefully
we'll see if
not
it flips
transfer.
titles, but I mean, I think me and you,
Hopefully that won't transfer
we can.
over.
Well, we're gonna both say 3-0. I'm assuming there's not gonna
Yes.
be any.
Yeah, I would. Be like, yeah, sure. Actually, maybe if I like cast a curse that West Virginia takes a round or two, maybe like it won't happen. Like sort of like a reverse psychology thing. Do you think that works?
Sure, give it to Evan on 3-1 for St.
3-1,
Clair, and
yeah.
I'll take
I'll give
the 3-0.
I'll give the underdog the benefit of the doubt.
There you
here,
go,
know?
why
Like I
not?
said,
And
I'm a big fan of what
Hayden in the back room's got it in 3-2.
All right, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
That's good to hear
He
that
thinks
he
he's going
agrees
5.
with you. No, but I mean, like, yes, there is a, you know, fairly large skill gap between these two programs, but genuinely, I was really enjoying the game of Ethan and White Tables for West Virginia. They got, you know, the ability to make big plays happen. They just don't have the full team support like St. Clair does. St. Clair has, like, you know, a stacked, like, 4 lineup, and West Virginia has, like, 1 or 2 players that are making impacts in this one so far. So St. Clair just has them outnumbered in terms of raw skill, I think. But, you know, there's a reason why they're in the Super Conference, and they do have a couple, you know, decent players. So I'll give them that, but I think St. Clair just mogs them in terms of talent.
Are thirsty for more players who are going to challenge them and rival their skill. And remember, just when you thought this team couldn't get any better, I mean, I'm not going to go ahead and say, like, immediately. It just depends. But the depth, the squad depth is insane. Because this isn't even their full starting lineup.
No.
Like, Bendy's just in here,
Yeah.
but he's so good still to the whole point that he just fits in so well. It's just a well-oiled machine all around, no matter who's in the lineup. And that really just speaks to the versatility and yet also the accountability, the communication that this team has that they can do, right? I mean, even in Hardpoint, right, they do not lock themselves on roles. We saw CWADs, Chris, switching from SMG to AR depending on the hardpoint, and then everyone else just responded throughout the game based on what loadouts they were running. It was simple, it was effective, it worked out, and it's something that shows you it doesn't matter who's on this lineup. It could be Bendy, it could be Cootie. Brandon could be playing on this lineup. It does not matter. You can get Zarin in here too. This core of this team, in general, they are so good at just adapting to the point where I really just think they are one of the best, if not the best, COD collegiate team, and it shows. Like, it doesn't matter. These guys will take your souls nevertheless.
No, they are, and they, like you said, they are one of the best collegiate COD teams. You know, I think second only, or maybe like tied with Oklahoma Christian. I mean, they're going to be the big team to
Definitely
watch
their
out for,
ops,
especially
yeah.
next semester when we look at CCL.
Ooh.
or a college COD, I should say. That's
gonna be good.
Those are gonna be some really, really good matchups as we get into second semester. But right now, I think the Saints are just looking to get NACE. That's the one infinity stone they're missing on their gauntlet to really establish themselves as a dynasty team. And with the way they've been playing so far this season, I would definitely take them to win it.
I would agree with that. Although I'm going to just shake my head in agreement here and not curse anyone. But as we say that, here we go. We are getting into some control here. And very quickly, everyone's just going to clash onto this point in these hallways. And Seawad's pushing this doorway. He's going to go right around. He is just sweeping his way through very quickly.
Yeah, Saints dominating early on control. This is a map they really like on control. There's just an absolutely diabolical spawn trap you can set up if you're in the right spot. And St. Clair already starting to set that up. I mean, what can West Virginia do when St. Clair is just balling at the level they have been? Already taking this first point. Seawad's holding down the office and just getting West Virginia right as they spawn. I mean, it is just, like we said, it's a diabolical spawn trap. And if you're on this side of the map, good luck if you can't get anything going. It's so hard to break through this defense when you have a team like St. Clair on the other side.
You got it just right. And as you can see here, like West Virginia having no luck pushing in on this. They are going to break through a little bit here, but is it going to be something sustainable? They do drop B to St. Clair, though. St. Clair has secured B. Now they just have to get A, and then it'll be a round win for St. Clair. But we are seeing a good bit of pressure here from West Virginia. The question is, will anything come out of it? The KD ratios here are a bit unbalanced. St. Clair really running away with this KD ratio battle, but does it pay off for the actual control?
Well, so far it is paying off. I mean, you know, St. Clair does have a fairly large lead in terms of lives right now, and it doesn't look like they're going to be relinquishing that lead anytime soon. West Virginia down by 8 in terms of lives. Definitely have a lot of work to do as KB gets some more progress on the point, but does fall before he gets that first echelon. That first checkpoint still up for grabs for St. Clair. Bendy getting knifed on that rotation as West Virginia slowly closing that gap. Only down 3 now as they get on the point. Do not celebrate too early if you're St. Clair. West Virginia still showing some fight. Gonna have to do a little bit of work, and that's a good start as Green in the kill feed comes through, and the Saints retake the point, hoping to get some more time built up on it.
I wonder what's going to come first here. Are they going to catch A first, or is West Virginia going to run out of lives first? It's very close here. They're down to their final 7. They're under 10. St. Clair only at 12, though. They've kind of brought this back against St. Clair. Only a difference of 5 right now. But Rupert and Seawads, 8-2, 8-4. They alone have 16 of the kills. And it's really coming down to the wire here. 4 lives left, 1 section taken for A for St. Clair. I think this is actually going to come down to lives.
Yeah, it will. I mean, you got no respawns left for West Virginia. It's all a matter of time now. St. Clair can slow the pace of the game down as much as they want, as it's all up to Ethan. Not going to be able to do it. That's an easy round win for St. Clair. And you can really tell that once they started dialing up that pressure, especially on that spawn trap near B, you just can't stop them.
You're absolutely right. That was just tremendous pressure on West Virginia here. They just had no answer. I mean, what can you do? Truly, it's just such an effective spawn trap that there's truly not many answers. But St. Clair takes the first game, 2 more, and they are done.
They are done and dusted. Let's see if West Virginia can respond with a good round of their own. One might say that St. Clair is spawning in the worst spawn of the 2. See if West Virginia could take advantage of the spawn trap that they were just abusing in the first round. But once again, St. Clair with a hot start. KB and the rest of the boys trying to keep this hot streak going. Their domination and control has been one of their marquee game modes. Oh my goodness, Seawash just getting transported to another dimension there. He got killed so hard, but it does not matter as the rest of the team is going to rally around his untimely demise.
I want to talk about Bendy for a second. Only 3-3. Is this a bad round, or is he applying pressure in a different way?
I mean, he's been around the map. He's been getting some time on the objectives. He picks up a nice double there. I mean,
think he must have heard me there. He's like,
contributing.
"Okay, watch
He
this."
probably did. He's probably watching the stream right now. Just contributing in any way you can, and you know, trying to get that spawn trap set up on the other side for St. Clair as him and KB trying to pull double duty on this side. But it's just complete domination once you let the Saints get set up and get these hard, you know, defensive sides set up. It is just too hard to stop St. Clair once they get motoring the way they have been so far. And I mean, this is going to be another one that comes down to lives here. Clear West Virginia off the objective. Just live through these last 2 seconds, and then this round is over. Another dominant performance from St. Clair on control.
That was a much faster round as well, and that's just it. They got 2 now, 1 to go if they want to win this right now. And KB, 7-4 this round. Pretty good match from him. And once again, I end up eating my words.
Yeah, it's going to most likely, you know, I think barring a miracle from West Virginia here, most likely going to end in this next one, assuming St. Clair can continue to play as well as they have been. And I like the strategy that they run with. You know, you don't necessarily have to capture both points to win. Sometimes it just takes a fake push or just capping one and then setting up the spawn trap, and that's what's been leading to success for them so far. So I'm expecting them to just play hyper aggressive, try and get through this first initial wave of West Virginia attackers, and then just hard push for that spawn trap and just deplete lives as fast as they can.
Yeah, absolutely right. And in these 2 rounds, they have not won a round by actually capturing both points. They both come down to lives in some way, shape, or form, whether it's running down all their lives or running down time when they have less lives. But we're seeing some dominant performance here, and they are going to try to take B very early. So it looks like they may be setting up for that spawn trap kill box. Rupert, 15-4 throughout these rounds. And Bendy really picking it up now. He does go down there, though. Once again, I say something and the opposite happens. I need to learn how to not do that.
Well, it's hard sometimes. I mean, with COD especially, I mean, you know, the pace is so quick that it is easy to fall in certain moments, but no matter. St. Clair is still in the lead in terms of lives. West Virginia taking control of B back from St. Clair before they could finish fully capping it. So going to be a bit of a problem there, but St. Clair is still playing with the lives advantage. They can still afford to be aggressive in these rotations, and I'm fully expecting them to rush back and finish this B capture as we got 2 trophies down on B. Going to make things a little easier to finish it off, but Ethan lurking in the shadows, trying to find these rotating members of the Saints, but it does not matter as CWAD's able to secure B. And now it all comes down to draining the rest of West Virginia's lives or capturing this A site.
You're absolutely right. And it looks like they are going to try to capture A a bit here. There are people on point for A. I genuinely expected this one to be their spawn trap kill box, but it doesn't look like they're going to go for that. They are putting that pressure on A point, and CWAD just holding it down here in this doorway, trying to keep West Virginia handled, I suppose you could say. Rupert still just laying it down on West Virginia here. 21-6. He has just been phenomenal this entire game. And KB's going to go down here, though, so maybe a little bit of a counterpunch from West Virginia in the final moments. But they're down under 10 lives now, 9 remaining. It may not matter.
No, it definitely will not matter, especially when you have KB and Bendy operating this spawn trap. Does get cleared out by West Virginia, though, so like you said, a bit of a counterpunch coming on their end. But St. Clair, more progress on the A site, so still in control of this round here. Just need to stay the course, try and survive just a little bit more, but West Virginia, not many lives left to play with. CWAD's trying to finish off that pick with a pistol. Not going to happen as he does fall. West Virginia still having some respawns to work with, but that's going to be the last, as there are none left for the side of West Virginia. St. Clair just need to find the rest of them and finish it off here.
Yeah, and as you say, that one more goes down, so it's 3 lives left and 21 seconds to cut it out. So, CWAD's taking this stuff upon himself. He's going to go for one. He's going to actually go down and 2 of them are going to go down very quickly, and it's all coming down to some pandemonium right here at the end. 5-2, 14 seconds left, and it's actually going to be a paused timer and contested, and it is chaos on the point.
Oh, no way they throw this. I mean, this actually could be fairly close. I mean, there's only one member alive for West Virginia, but look at this now. It's going to be a 1v1. Can Seawads secure this final point? Vert isn't anywhere close to the objective. Not sure he has enough time. It does get contested, but it does not matter as St. Clair clutches up. That was a clutcher's kick situation if I've ever seen one. It was a little hairy at the end, but they get it done. St. Clair control the playing field and win it 3-0.
What a way to finish that round. That was absolute chaos. No one knew what was going to come next. My heart was racing for them.
Absolutely. I mean, Smoke, what are your thoughts after that exciting final round of Control? I mean, dare I say they threw a little bit at the end there?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that at the end of the day, these guys just had to go for objective, and if they really just grouped up, it wouldn't have mattered. There's not enough bullets in a mag, not enough spray transfer with 4 guns looking at you. I think it's just simply one of those cases where ego got the best of a couple of the Saints players, and they were just kind of hunting down to make sure that they could try to find the last guy, and in doing so, gave him isolated ones, and that's never something you want to do in a game like COD, because especially with the passive regeneration after a little bit of time, eventually you're just taking 4 50-50 gunfights, right? So it is what it is. Really good job there from Vert to just punish St. Clair for that. Finds a killing spree of 5, and man, I really honestly thought after he jumps into Fountain, finds the first couple of shots untraded onto what was Seawads, and then immediately I figured from there, after Seawads gets up for the prone, I'm like, oh, that's it. Unfortunately, for Vert, it wasn't. And Seawads has some incredible aim, some incredible movement, hits him a little bit of the bunny hop at the end as well. Couldn't have written it any better myself if I tried, as Seawads going to be your MVP for the day right now. 15-5 with 8 assists on that final game of Control. And now, is he locked? Yes,
Most
absolutely.
definitely.
He is locked in. You have to be locked in if you're going to be dropping numbers in Control, S&D, and Hardpoint in general. And then to have the composure to finish off that one-on-one, cool, calm, collected, ice in his veins. Definitely got to give him the MVP on the day there. Well-deserved there from Chris.
Absolutely. I mean, I think anybody could have taken home the MVP in that entire series, but Seawads definitely put on a show for us tonight. You know, he talked early, you know, he said he was going to be locked in tonight. Glad they said, you know, no trolling tonight. Get this one done. I mean, we're gonna talk to Chris, I think, just a little bit. You know, we'll get some insight as to what he was feeling through that final match there. So that'll be something to look forward to in just a little bit. But Zero, any other thoughts about that series there?
Seawads was very deserving of that MVP. I make it very clear, Cody is my GOAT, my personal GOAT, but I think Seawads takes the name of that today. That was an excellent performance from him, and yeah, just phenomenal game.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
not much more to say, really.
I was just saying, I'm hearing that we're just a minute out from this Seawads interview, and again, I'm just sort of thinking about, as well as, you know, you guys are, is there any team right now in the collegiate team that can stop St. Clair COD? Man, at this rate, it's going to have to be a long wait. I have a feeling that this team has a very bright future ahead.
Absolutely, and a very high ceiling as well. I still don't feel like we're seeing
high
them
ceiling, high floor, high everything. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, like, there really isn't, I think any goal you set in front of this team, they can get if they put their mind to it. You know, like I said, the sky's the limit for this team, really. I mean, you know, they really could go far. And like I said, I don't think they are playing at their full potential.
Yeah, I don't think so either, especially after last round. But we have a man who we can talk to right now and find out if that answer is true. Seawads, Chris, how you doing? You just got out of a huge W. You get the MVP as well. And what the hell happened in that last 4v1? Why are 3 people just taking isolated ones?
My teammates.
What are they doing for you, man?
Yo,
like,
I said, give me some time. They ain't giving me time, but, I don't lose my one, so, I had to close it out.
Yeah, easy said than done, honestly. I mean, you made it look easy either way. I think that you guys have done so well tonight, especially with the sub of Bendy having to fill in for Cootie. You guys, just talk to me a little bit about your squad depth, how dependable each one of you are no matter what. Because honestly, it seemed like Bendy came into the lineup and there was no folding whatsoever. You guys didn't miss a beat.
Yeah, so anyone on our team can compete. Like, no matter what roster we spawn in with, like, we're always going to come out with that W.
Yeah, I was even saying that Brandon could have probably started.
Yeah.
It still would have been absolute wipe city. But I was gonna say I'll pass it off now. Sorry.
No, thank you, Smoke. Chris Cott, I have a question for
Yo.
you. Like we were talking about, just any goal in front of this team right now, I think is obtainable. The sky's the limit right now for you guys. Just kind of walk me through like the mentality. Like, are you guys already sort of looking ahead to these like end goals, or are you just keeping everything in front of you right now?
Oh, no, for sure. We definitely are just, like, taking it match by match. You have to if you want to win. But, there's always – we want to win. So, like, late at night, we're always thinking, the big ones,
Absolutely, and I think we are looking forward to those big ones. I mean, we were talking about the competition in collegiate COD. It's Oklahoma Christian. I know you guys have that one circled on the calendar already.
Yep.
I have a question for you as well here. In a match like that last one, the very last round there, that 1v1 situation that seemingly was not expected by anyone, does the pressure ever get to you in a situation like that, or are you just always locked in on those?
Nah, I think just over time, like, obviously, like, going, like, the heart still beats a little quick, but
Dude,
not
he
as much
was
as
so
anymore.
He was actually
So nervous, shaking. The sweat started coming down my face. Oof, it was bad.
But if it wasn't for your pre-fire hand warmers,
so
Yep.
true.
keep
now I'm
them
locked in.
hands warm. Now he's locked
Now I'm
in.
locked
That's
in.
it.
That's a good plug too for the
Exactly.
sponsor segment. Thank you, Chris, for joining us on the
course.
show. Congratulations on the win tonight.
Thank you.
Man,
Wow,
I was going to
great.
say, and that's going to do it at least for our COD section. So, again, for those who came to watch some COD, thank you so much for all that you do, the viewers as well as the teams and the coaches who compete. We want to just quickly take a moment to also thank our sponsors for this game, provided to us by Alienware, Tim Hortons, Subway, the SRC, the SEC alumni, Onezo, and, of course, just as mentioned, Pre-Fire as well. Keep those hands warm. You will not have the shakes in your ones.
Never. You will win every single 1v1 you will enter using Pre-Fire. But we're going to take a bit of a break now. When we come back, we're going to switch and we're going to rotate out because we have some Overwatch coming up next. The Saints, twice this week, they're going to be playing. So stick around for that. We'll be right back.
Favor, none more than Calamity, though. Left in 5, he'll be shut down. The rotation was for Cumberland, but St. Clair breaks through. Oh, gaining loads. Situation now 1-on-1, 1 HP on this solo. 1 bullet is a 4-person 1v5. Stand against the rest.
A guy to this ball, guiding it down, maybe even get one for the road.
Our own standards here in this overtime period, because if we concede a goal, it's over for them.
He's doing a lot of damage, but he's got a TP over. He avoids Ego. Bob Waena, no flash, no problem. St. Clair.
Horse back already so low. Reddick's taking down 2, taking down 1.
Immediately, this should be all she wrote. Soaks with one on the icy.
Stand, kill the whole squad.
MP.
Yeah, but no, this map is actually crazy, I'm not gonna lie.
Water map.
Yo, hey Scott, what the hell are you doing, bro? We got a match, bro. You're late.
Yo. I gotta go.
Yo, log in, bro.
Yo, I gotta go. Now I'm good.
To this ball, guy to get down, maybe even get one for the road.
Our own standards here in this overtime period, because if we concede a goal, it's over for them.
He's doing a lot of damage, but he's got to keep you over. He avoids Ego. Babuena, no flash, no problem. Safe, Clair.
So low, Reddick's taking down two, taking down one. Immediately, this should be all she wrote. Soaks with one on the icy. Stand, kill the whole squad.
Yo, MP.
Yeah, but no, this map is actually crazy. I'm not gonna lie.
Water man.
Yo, Chris Scott, what the hell are you doing, bro? We got a match, bro. You're late.
Yo. I gotta go.
Yo, log in,
Yo,
bro.
I gotta go. Now I'm good.
We are back with some NACE Week 4 Overwatch.
I hope you didn't get tired of us earlier because we're back. We're still streaming. We're here for Overwatch this time.
Wait, sorry. My bad. This is actually, I believe, my mistake. Sorry, my bad. Because, well, in Week 4, it says they're going, that the Overwatch team is going up against Grandview. So I wonder if there's maybe a mistake on our part.
This is a rescheduled game.
Game
if
against
I'm remembering
UTD.
correctly, this is a rescheduled
yes,
game.
yes, okay.
So that's the reason why the Saints are playing twice this week, because I'm sure there are some of you who are saying, I think I watched on Monday. I think they were playing Overwatch on Monday too. No, we get 2 this week, so you
Technically Week 5.
You get some
so,
bonus Overwatch
there
this
you go.
week, and everybody loves that. Everybody loves Overwatch, and I know somebody who also loves Overwatch that we're going to talk to very shortly. He's a member of the team. It's Soaks. He's here. We finally got him for that elusive interview. Soaks, welcome to the show. Why are you trying to dodge our interviews, man?
Yo,
I take that personally. That hurts my feelings.
Is this thing on? Is this thing on?
Yes, it is.
I love it, bro. No, I'm just dodging.
Why
making
though?
It special, making it. If I go every time, like it's a common occurrence.
That is very true, though.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, thinking about what you guys have looked like so far, right? 4-0 through NACE. You guys are undefeated. UTD 2-2. So again, these guys, they have some wins under their belts, but at the same time, this should be smooth sailing in the office for you guys. Going into this matchup, how confident are you from a scale of 1 to 10?
I think it's going to take like 40 minutes. Should be pretty fast. I think there shouldn't be any issues.
We'll time you for sure to make sure that's accurate.
Record's 38.
Start that countdown right now. But no, Smoke is right. 2-2 for UTD. They have some talent on their side. Does playing twice in a week impact your guys' schedule too much? Is it not really that big of a deal for you? Business as usual.
I think it's whatever. I think we can do it. I think twice a week is fine. I mean, we have even had matches yesterday and we have matches tomorrow, so it's not going to be a big deal.
All right, I like the confidence. I really do.
Very confident. I don't know a whole lot on asking questions about Overwatch, I'll be honest.
It's fine. I can take the floor. It's all
go
good.
ahead. Please do. This is your show.
We've heard that there were going to be a lot of subs in here tonight, Soaks. We heard that you're going to be getting reps. Maybe that Noxious is going to be coming through as well, right? I just want to know. I just want to hear it from you, because your team has so much depth, right? Does it take a lot of weight off of the mental and the shoulders, knowing that there are just so many people on this team who can perform at an equal level?
So I think the advantage is that if some people just feel like they're burned out or they don't want to play a match, that we can just sub others in.
Right,
I think that's always a good thing. But the main reason I'm playing is because I'm just playing a different character than Radix. So I won't be playing the same hero he's going to be playing in the match. So that's kind of the reason I'm playing. It's not because he doesn't want to play. It's just we have a different strat cooked up for the map. So that's why me or Noxious are being subbed in over the other players. Right,
exactly. Now, I'm trying to figure this out, right? I mean, we heard that you were kind of the Wu Yang specialist. So is that being it? So you take Red X off the Lucio, then you run the Wu Yang Kiriko combo with you and Alex?
Yeah, we're most likely just gonna play around the Wu Yang every time I'm gonna be subbed in. like leaking strats. Whoa.
I mean, you know what? At the end of the day, if you guys are so confident that you're going to get it done anyway, it shouldn't matter. Plus, the other thing is, I mean, dude, you've got a match in like 5 minutes. So
I do. I'm already being invited to the lobby. I'm just waiting.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for being here on the desk, Soaks, and we will be catching up with you later as we now come back to here. And I mean, we were thinking about a lot of subs in the lineup.
They clapped for him. Did you hear that?
Yeah, they did.
That's crazy.
He finally got the job done. And speaking about getting the job done, let's take a look at some team lineups as well. Let's just see what the actual starting lineup usually looks like. As you see here, it's going to be Juice, Redex, Tread, Razor, and Alex being your casual starters. As you know, Tread, usually our highlight player, seen on the Doomfist Hazard, Diva as of recently. Razor, usually more of a Reaper, Genji Tracer himself. I say as of recently for Tread as well for tanks. We've seen a lot of Zarya Reaper combo as well, and I really love seeing that out of St. Clair. It's such an easy thing to work around, right? You either feed Tread charge, or you immediately bubble up and take deaths from the Reaper that are just going to be in close range. So again, Juice on the hit scan as well as Sojourn, and then Alex and Redex. Alex usually being the Kiriko / Wu Yang, Redex on the Lucio.
Yeah, like you said, you said it perfectly in the interview. The team is so deep. Like, they have so many players that can sub in and out. And like Soaks was saying, you know, if someone, you know, is tired or wants to sub out or they want to run a different comp, they can do that. They have the luxury of doing that. And that just shows you just how well built they are. Like, they're confident today, and I really think we're going to see a good series from them. It doesn't matter if they play twice in 1 week. You know, they can play 5 times in 1 week. They're still going to get the job done.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, for UTD, Fone, Eric, Hermosa, Duyi, and then Craig as well, right? So again, Fone and Eric on the DPS, Hermosa on the support, Duyi on the support as well. Hermosa usually running a Lucio / Wu Yang is what we have down here, and then Duyi on usually the Kiriko, Yari, or Ana. So again, no surprises that I'm really seeing here, especially if you have a support player like Hermosa who can run the Lucio Wu Yang. It doesn't matter. You can choose either or, and that's something that honestly I think they have as an advantage over us, right? Because Redex is usually on the Lucio, but doesn't play really anything else. So whenever we do want to make a change, you have to wait until next game to put a sub in. Whereas these guys, they have that versatility on paper as listed, so it should be able to be interesting to see if they can actually change up the support comps the way they want to mid-game. And I think that's something that's huge that St. Clair, they're going to have to look out for.
Yo, you're absolutely right. I mean, you talk about how good Redex is at being that Lucio specialist, but, you know, UTD, you know, we're most likely going to see a Kiriko Wu Yang combo out of them as well. I mean, it's so strong in the meta right now. I mean, depending on the map, obviously, but it is a good comp to run in most situations right now, especially Kiriko. I think Kiriko is just a mainstay in the current Overwatch 2 support meta, so I'm really expecting to see Doi pull out that Kiriko at some point and, you know, maybe challenge the Saint support players that little bit, but it all comes down to the tank players, and Tread is going to be that guy who's going to be running the floor and running the point for St. Clair. You know, he talked about him bringing out Zarya on Monday, and, you know, we have like a whole arsenal of tanks that he could play. You know, Wrecking Ball, Doomfist, Diva, Hazard. Like, he has such a deep toolkit that can be used in any scenario that makes him such a tough character and player to deal with in any situation. It really shows how versatile these Saints can be in any map, any mode.
Yeah, you mentioned my buzzword there, Wrecking Ball. I hope I get to see him again today. Maybe a bit longer than 2 seconds this time.
Noxious, you think we're seeing Wrecking Ball tonight at some point?
Absolutely.
Yes!
He says absolutely.
Confident. I like
I'm telling you, he's lying straight to your face.
I actually think Tread is going to lock it.
He actually, okay, so you know what? Never mind.
Right.
I thought he was actually just kidding completely.
He likes to troll, so he might lock it.
That's a Patrick Smoke Chambers guarantee.
Let him know. Let him know for me.
Mark it down.
I didn't
Smoke
say, not my
Chambers
words.
has guaranteed. Via Noxious has guaranteed we will see some Wrecking Ball tonight. And you know what? Honestly, I don't think that's a bad thing necessarily, because, yeah, like, it might be a troll pick for Tread, but even his troll picks are still impactful.
Still solid.
And like 2 weeks ago when we were casting Smoke Overwatch, we were just seeing Tread absolutely bullying people on King's Row. So I'm fully expecting him to pull that out, assuming things go well for the team tonight, but I can't see it not going that way.
Right, absolutely. I mean, I think that when we look at this lineup in general, in terms of just versatility, it all starts with Tread, right? You listed the amount of tanks that he can play. I'm just looking through the amount of different comps they can run as well. Juice on hit scan can literally mess up anyone on Freya, Sojourn. Those are really the big two that we've been seeing. But honestly, if we get on King's Row, screw it. We could see Juice pop out with the Widowmaker for like 1 to 2 lives. You never know. Talking about UTD though, right? Fone, a DPS who is listed down as usually someone who's playing a lot of Reaper in May. Now, despite the fact that Eric's DPSs are noted down as some other characters that aren't hit scan, it makes me want to believe that Eric might be the hit scan DPS for this team, considering what Fone plays, right? We already have the supports listed down, and then that kind of just leaves Craig, who we have down as a tank/DPS player, but most likely going to be forced into that tank role if you have 2 hard DPS choices, right? That being said, you never really know until you get into the server, and this could be a flex lineup where they like to kind of switch things around. With our team, we at least know that they have their roles locked down to a T, and it's just really just about who wants to sub in on the day.
Yeah, I think we are going to be seeing a bit of a flex situation from UTD in this one. You know, we have some players that like to mix roles a little bit and just change things up. So if there's anything that might give the Saints pause, it could be that, but I'm still not expecting a whole lot of trouble coming out from them tonight. They should be able to take care of their business against, at least on paper, a inferior opponent. And, they're still warm from their match on Monday. Soaks was mentioning how they were also playing yesterday and have some, during the week, after today. So I think they've just been locked in all week and they're just ready to take care of their business and get the job done.
I agree with that. I'm going to be looking specifically at a few players, trying to learn more about how they play this stream. That's my main goal. One of them being Juice. Very fond of Juice. Met him outside of the college once, as I mentioned, and want to see how he really plays. I don't think I got to actually catch too much on Monday with him, so hopefully if they're going to be swapping out a lot, we'll get to see some gameplay from him and I'm going to be able to see some.
Yeah, I was going to say, if we want to talk about Juice right now, based on the hit scan characters he plays, Sojourn, Freya, expect a lot of really smart movement. And I highlighted that when he was on King's Row last time we got to see him on the Sojourn, something that they do really well, especially something that he does really well on Sojourn, is the ability to use that snare to counter out any choke points that there might be an escape route from, right? So you'll see it before. I've seen it on Lijiang Tower. We saw it in Rialto as well. Using that snare to really drive choke points home, there is no exit strategy. It is literally just, we saw last time they played, right? Opposing team pops a beat drop from Lucia ult and pops a Kiriko ult at the same time, right? We know that St. Clair, they want to fight this, so they pop their Kitsune rush at the same time, and then what happens is they delay it for about 5 seconds. So their rush is going to last longer than the opposing, right? Then what you do for Juice is after all those shields and all that health and healing has gone down, you pop the snare in the back so you do not give them an avenue to walk out of. They try to back up, and all of a sudden they're taking snare damage, as well as obviously our Saints players who are dealing damage to them as well. The stack up happens, and immediately it's 4 quick picks and a confirm on Lijiang Tower. It's plays like that that can also be made with Tread using Hazard, right? That Hazard wall, sometimes we see that they do a really good job of isolating one person. Now, whether it's walling the tank off, whether it's walling a squishy off out of the LOSs of their support players, this is something that we've seen done time and time again. St. Clair, they really like to put their opponents between a rock and a hard place out of open areas. And that's a hard thing to do, but since they're so damn good at it, that's what makes them such a great team.
It really is. And I mean, you mentioned it perfectly there when you talk about isolating members of the enemy team. And that's really where folks like Razor really start to shine. We've really seen him pick up Reaper in these last couple series. Reaper, a mainstay in Overwatch, very strong in the meta right now, comboing that with somebody like a Tracer. Potentially, if we get to see Noxious later, will we see that? Or, partnering with Juice, even with like a hit scan Sojourn type character, it is so easy for St. Clair to put pressure on the tanks and then also isolate the squishies as well, you know, your support characters. And that's what Juice is so good at doing. Like, we saw it on Monday. He was just hitting some insane shots with Sojourn. And, you know, we mentioned that Kings Row game from a couple weeks ago where he pulls out Hanzo and Widowmaker. Like, he was really feeling it on that point on defense on Kings Row. I mean, the confidence is there. And, I mean, he was on a heat check, and he was absolutely hitting every shot.
Again, you know what? Mind you, yes, Kings Row is kind of a lock for them, but at the same time, you know, that was the same game where Tread may have picked Wrecking Ball, may have gotten Juice into one of the building rooms and just watched as he absolutely destroyed an enemy one-on-one just against a wall. So yeah, we do a little bit of trolling, but it's all in good fun. And I think for this Overwatch team, that's exactly what they love doing. They love having fun with their lineups and their comps because, especially in NACE right now, there really hasn't been too much of a challenge, and they've even stated they think the competition is a little weak, if anything, this year, kind of like reminiscent of what I said to our COD team. They are really mainly just waiting for ISU at the end of the regular season. So getting these opponents out of the way, building momentum towards ISU, that's really their big goal.
No, it is. And this is the perfect time to build that momentum, is early in the season when you have these weaker opponents in order to, you know, build things up, you know, in the standings point-wise. And if the Saints do secure a win tonight, they will take sole possession of first place. Obviously, that most likely will change once ISU plays their match next week or whenever they play their next scheduled NACE match. But, you know, you could stop the count right there and, you know, take a screenshot of the standings and, you know, see St. Clair alone at the top. But it will be fleeting.
We don't want to be frauds.
It will be fleeting, as ISU will most likely win their next match. But you're right, like, the competition is definitely not as stiff this year. When you take a look at the Super Conference standings, it's ISU and St. Clair, and then there's a big gap. You know, both are 4-0 right now, ISU, St. Clair. Then the next closest teams
is literally UTD.
They're 2-2, UTD, like at third with Cumberland and Briarcliff. And St. Clair has already taken care of Cumberland this season, fairly handedly, I might add, as well. So a team at that same level should not be a problem for St. Clair tonight, at least on paper.
No, and I mean, you heard the confidence from Soaks, and he's not even a starter usually on the main roster. If he's this confident that they're just going to be able to take him down like that, that's how you really know, right? All of these guys behind the scenes are getting their reps in. No one's slacking. And I think that's very important because no one's falling behind. It's simple as, right? It's kind of like the COD team. It's plug and play. It doesn't matter. It's like you got a fantasy team of just all-stars. You can just put whatever one you want in. Doesn't matter. They're going to still give you the results you need at the end of it. And that's just what I love about this lineup, man, is it doesn't matter who comes through. Everyone's going to shine.
Man, that must be nice to talk about a fantasy team of all
Yeah, you know, we're not going to get started on that.
Oh, I could go on
many
many tangents about that. I will not talk about that right now because we'll be here for way too long. But Zero, you know, like you said, you're still trying to learn a little bit about Overwatch, but, you know, you've still got to get some good reps in watching the Saints play, you know, these last couple weeks. And for you, at least, an outside observer, I mean, it has to be nothing but dominance so far.
Oh, yeah. That first stream we saw, it was just that. And these guys are a solid team. And I believe these guys are going to be tournament bound by the end of the season. And I think they're going to do a good job at it as well. I mean, watching these guys, always a pleasure. And they go ham. They're cracked.
I think that's a really good way to put it. I mean, it's similar to our Call of Duty team. And, you know, like, again, if the Saints can dominate, you know, Call of Duty already put up a 3-0 scoreline. Can Overwatch match that energy and also put up a 3-0, you know, to keep pace? I mean, there's a lot of pressure. I mean, there's some bragging rights on the line there, guys. So, you know, no pressure, but you got to match what the COD team did because they, quite frankly, dog-walked West Virginia on the first part of our stream. So, you know, those are some high expectations to live up to.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, West Virginia, a school that usually when it comes to esports has some pretty good lineups. I mean, I know I'm especially thinking more about just Rocket League and Valorant being really the main two that kind of come to mind when I think about West Virginia. But even then, right, anytime you take a win off of West Virginia or you take their name, it always looks good in a Twitter post. That this is what it is, right? So it's sort of the same thing here is, you know, if you have a weaker opponent, yes, cool, that it might be the case. But you do not want to underestimate these players as well. Let's not forget, UTD, they're 2-2. They have tasted NACE victory twice. So again, they know what it takes to win in a situation like this. It's just above, it's just kind of, you know, at another skill level. There are levels to this sometimes. I think it's going to be a harsh reality that they are going to learn. But nevertheless, they still have taken wins as well over, for example, Converse and Grandview. So it's not like these guys do not know what it takes. It's just more so how they're going to do it. Execution is always the key.
I mean, if you take a look at UTD's, like you said, their win-loss record, you know, those 2 wins coming against Grandview and Converse, I mean, not great, you know, teams in terms of the standings. You know, their losses coming to Bellevue, who we saw on Monday, and the Saints were able to dispatch them fairly easily, and then the other L coming to Cumberland in 3-0 fashion. So, you know, that's a, you know, more stout roster that they've had to deal with around the same skill level. So, you know, you can min-max these lineups as much as you want to. We can debate endlessly about skill level and the value of a win or a loss, but it doesn't matter, because what matters is what you do in the lobby, and we're just about to get into the lobby. Here we are. I'm going to pretend we didn't see the preview of that map, so I'll act surprised when we finally get into the game. But as you can see, we are slowly but surely approaching map 1, and it will be King of the Hill domination.
Yeah, it's always a fun game mode, always a fun map, and we are going to have some technical issues back there with the game, but hopefully it'll be cleared up pretty soon so we don't have to suffer so much. I will say, got a little peek there.
I didn't want to mention it.
We won't spoil it.
I didn't want to mention it.
We will not spoil the lineups yet. We will not mention that yet. We'll pretend we didn't see anything, and we'll act like we're going in fresh. But that's okay.
I will contain my excitement.
That's okay. It happens. We can see the boys here absolutely locked in. We got Soaks and Noxious waiting in the wings on the bench to get subbed in, and here we go. The match has gone underway. Here we go. Like you said, Saints need to get a good start here. Tread elected to go for Zarya. It was working for him on Monday, so if you have the hot hand, you got to keep it going. Fairly familiar comp from the Saints all around, with Red X popping the Wu Yang. That is that Wu Yang Kiriko combo that we were expecting. And let's see if they can push this pace here. That's Razor trying to lead the charge, trying to take care of Abdallah, but Razor falling. And St. Clair now have to back up a bit as UTD takes control of the point first.
I must say, my emotions have been played with and my heart is broken. We did see ball for a moment there on Tread when they had the technical difficulties, and that is gone now. So, not going to see ball quite yet, but I have faith that we will see it in this matchup. St. Clair, though, really struggling to get this early pressure.
Yeah, UTD has done a really good job early here. They do burn their Kiriko rush early. That Kitsune rush, a bit surprised that UTD is pulling that out this early. I mean, when you're holding the spawn this close, you don't necessarily need to pop that ultimate to keep it there, but if you need to win a team fight, I guess it does not matter. And it doesn't matter to Eric, as he is just frying right now. Him and Adala are just going crazy on the Saints backline. So far, the Saints have had a rough start, not been super locked in, and this is kind of what we're used to seeing on St. Clair's side. Usually they're the ones who sort of push the spawn back as far as they can and just, dominate the opponent early. But right now, UTD is kind of giving them a taste of their own medicine.
Yeah, it was a very rare case for St. Clair here, as it almost seems like a mediocre start for St. Clair. Definitely not something you would expect from these guys, and it may even be a bit late to start making a move here. It's already at 80% for UTD, and so unless St. Clair can put some pressure on here and get something going, this is actually looking very bad for them.
Tread does survive that Wu Yang ult, and here is Fone coming in with support, finds Alex. Tread falling as well, so two big pieces of the Saints roster going down. Red X adding to that total. UTD in a good position to sweep this first round cleanly. Juice trying his best to keep things contested, but he's got Hermosa
and Fone just laying into him, and UTD, they take this first point fairly easily. St. Clair has to go back to the drawing board to figure out what went wrong, because right now UTD has looked incredibly dominant, very different from that 2-2 rating that we saw earlier.
That was genuinely a surprise round there. I mean, I don't think anyone would have seen that coming right out of the gates. They really put the pressure on early, UTD, and St. Clair just did not have an answer there.
No, they did not. It was a very slow start for St. Clair. I mean, that's okay. You get that bad one out early. There are still chances to come back. It's a best of 3 for a reason on Lijiang Tower, so definitely don't need to beat yourself up about it.
For sure. You get that early reset, get things going again. You just shake it off, you know? They're back there going, okay, it's all right, guys. Shake it off. We've got this next one. And they're going to put their pressure on early. They're both going to be rushing for point here. And I expect to see better things from St. Clair here.
And, you know, something else to keep in mind, too, is that if for some reason Lijiang Tower does not go your way, if you need to change up the lineup or, you know, sub some people in, you have that ability to. You already have Soaks and Noxious who are waiting for their chance to come into the game. So we'll see what the Saints decide to do here, but they just need to focus on this point in front of them right now. Juice swapping to a more comfortable Sojourn as the Saints finally get some of their first control points of the match so far. And let's see if they can hold this pressure right here. This is a really good choke point that St. Clair likes to exploit. Let's see if they can keep it going.
Yeah, and St. Clair definitely taking the start they wanted this time. Got more comfortable in this round, and they are going to be the first ones onto the point to put on that early game pressure. Phone going down as well right there, so that's a big offensive pressure taken off. So the burden is gone there until he respawns. And these guys just can't seem to get back in there. St. Clair's really holding them out of this zone. So very great early game pressure from St. Clair here as they reach 30%. And oh wow, that tank got melted. Stays alive, but that health dropped fast. Very scary moment there for UTD.
Yeah, something that the Saints have done better in this round so far is they're taking care of Abdallah, because compared to that first point, the tank was just absolutely running the floor for UTD, and they were doing a really good job of isolating Razor and Shred especially, and just negating any of the impact that they have there. But that's a huge Graviton Surge and a Kitsune Rush coming in from St. Clair to keep this point alive for them, and they're just going to clean up the rest of UTD and keep this control point going in their direction. Shred on fire now as he's still playing with 82% power on his Zarya Graviton laser and just holding this choke point for St. Clair. They are looking like a much different team, a much more composed team from what we saw on point 1.
Absolutely. And yeah, they were just holding this one down. We reach 80% now. The doors are closing on UTD here, and still they keep going down. They are going to get some trades, though. Razor's going to go down as well as Red X. But is it going to matter? Because there are 3 down for UTD, 4 down, and Phone just barely hanging on here. They will get the respawn now, so they're going to regroup and come forward, but it may just be too late unless Phone can contest the point right here.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough contest because you still have all the members of St. Clair up. You have Fone's Death Blossom to work with. No ults on the side of St. Clair, so they're going to have to make sure that this comes through cleanly. Just need to survive a little bit longer, but that's Eric who just steps on the point ever so slightly to keep this overtime going. He is going to be a real thorn on the side of St. Clair. If they can't deal with him quickly, he can stagger out as long as he wants. And now Hermosa has returned to the point. Eric finding Razor. That's his Tracer mirror match. But Juice coming in with a big melee sucker punch to take care of Hermosa. Tread takes care of Eric. Saints secure the point 1-1 as we head to the Garden to solve this map.
Absolutely. This is going to go to around 3 here. And I would like to point out that the UTD tank did swap to Doomfist at the end there. It was just a bit too late. If they had gotten that swap to Doomfist, it would have been a lot different if they had gotten back to point in time, because Doomfist is a character that can really jump around and take up time on point to keep their team in it.
Yeah, I think that switch was mostly just to get back quicker, because, you know, your overtime was already so low. I think Doomfist was just a chance to get back and jump back quickly. I don't think we'll see Doomfist again, but you never know.
Like that definitely was a clutch pick to try and clutch up the end of the match, although it did not go through that way. And here we go, round 3, of Control, and it is a map that St. Clair has been very dominant on before and definitely loves to play on.
Oh my goodness, I think Fone almost fell off the map there, but was saved. Doesn't matter as Juice finishes him off anyway, but so big for St. Clair to get around this corner, and they have so far. This is going to be a huge first attack on the point. If you can get this early and set up that choke point on the bridge, you're looking good to get this hold in a good position, and now that's exactly what St. Clair is doing. We saw this on Monday. Tread leading the charge with Zarya, just taking the brunt of all that fire. Those who might not be as apt at Overwatch, whenever Tread's character takes damage when he has his bubble up, he gets more powerful. So Tread is going to be that frontline tank. That frontline character is going to take all of the damage and all the DPS with the supports behind him. A 100% charge Zarya is just so hard to stop in any situation.
Absolutely right. And I will say that choke point on the bridge there, I'm a quick play enjoyer, as you would call it. And anytime I get this map and see that, I go straight to Junkrat. I know he's not a very popular comp pick, but Junkrat's a pretty powerful pick on that bridge for sure, being able to apply a lot of damage through that gap.
You know, I also could call myself a Junkrat enjoyer, but I can admit that he is not a great comp character. I mean, when you have a Zarya as well, like Junkrat just feeds Zarya in almost any situation. A Zarya who is so, you know, who is apt and, you know, is with it, you know, you can just, like, you can't fool a pro Zarya player. Like, they'll just eat anything you throw at them. But right now, the Saints are dealing with any push that UTD is throwing at them. I mean, UTD looking a little lost after a dominant first map on Lijiang Tower, and right now Saints have just completely flipped the script. I mean, just a quarter left. Tread using his black hole to stall this push. That's Abdallah falling. That's a big pick going down for St. Clair. As now the rest come through as Juice using his ult to find another Fats. 2 for him. A death blossom for Fone isn't going to matter as the team wipe does come through, and that's going to do it, barring a miracle comeback from UTD if they can get back in time. But I don't think they have enough to get back as more kills come staggering through. Alex finding Doi, who's swapping to Moira as a last-ditch effort, but look at this, UTD, like we saw last time, not dead yet. A late contest, and now they might get this push, but Tread on Wrecking Ball coming in to save the day, gets Juno down. That's Hermosa falling, Tread getting eliminated, and UTD somehow they managed to recapture that point after a Herculean effort from all the boys at St. Clair. They're just gonna have to do a little bit more work to recapture this point now.
You said Herculean effort. That seemed more a bit like Sisyphus' rock. That was not going up the mountain anymore, unfortunately. I was ready to say get these guys a compass because they were lost, but apparently they have found their way. And we do get to see Ball for a short moment there, but it's not going to turn out in too much as, like you said, UTD pushes their way onto point, takes it by force.
Oh, God. Juice just deleting Fone from the match. Just embarrassing if you're the side of UTD, as St. Clair back on the point now. Just not enough to hold the rushing tide of St. Clair back as they do get back on the point. Eric once again trying to stall it out as long as possible, but the Saints deal with him. But of course, just as we say it, another punch is going to come through, and UTD will not be denied this final point. They are just not going down. St. Clair finally, after what seemed like forever, take care of UTD, close it out on Lijiang Tower. A scrappy map 1 win, but they really started to put that pressure on late.
Absolutely. That was some real chaos towards the end there. It seemed like neither team wanted to back down. They both wanted that point. They were hungry for it. They needed it. They wanted it. They were going to have it. Neither team giving up on that. And in the end, it will be St. Clair that takes that map after a hard-fought effort, a valiant effort from St. Clair.
No, absolutely. It was, you know, a far cry from what we saw on map 1. I think there must have been some coach speak after, you know, just to lock the boys in, get them going, because this first map, I mean, these highlights, this is the UTD mixtape we're watching right now. I mean, if you're a fan of them, you know, you're going to get some good looks, but now it's just all St. Clair. They locked in on this second map, and you can really start to see the elite talent that we have on this roster come to shine through. Tread especially was everywhere. You know, all the DPS contributing as well. Juice had some crazy headshots and impactful picks especially on this third map here, taking that Sombra out. You know, don't see Sombra as much in comp, but still somebody that can make a big impact, especially when you're trying to contest late. So good job to Juice and the rest of the boys to get this one done after it looked like it could be a rough start to their night.
Absolutely. And that was just chaos from start to finish. It almost seemed like St. Clair was maybe a bit offended by that first loss. They said, okay, what happened there? And they turned around and said, no, we're not having that again. We're going to turn this around. We're going to win these rounds, and we're going to take this map. And they did just that.
Well, it looks like we are getting our first swap of the night. Soaks filling in for Red X. Looks like we're going to be seeing that Kiriko Wu Yang combo that we were talking about as Soaks getting his peripheral set up. Got to make sure all those settings are the way he likes it. And Smoke, you know, now we can talk to you again. You're out of host jail. So what were your thoughts after that first game there?
I will say, watching on, it seems like St. Clair, they really do have this tried and true method down with Tread on the Zarya. Since we've really seen them open up into using the Zarya for the Tracer and potentially for the Reaper mainly as well, they haven't really stopped, and I think it's been absolutely beautiful. Again, I think that this time the Zarya was a lot more focused. I know I said the Tracer, I meant to say the Sojourn, because again, you can just have the Sojourn bubbled up and it's rather feed this or feed my charge as Zarya, or let the Sojourn just simply feed up her own charge and hit you with a rail shot. I mean, again, it's uncontested damage, right? When you have a Sojourn that can just look at enemies, whether it's on a chokehold on Lijiang Tower Bridge or just in an open space in general, right? There is nowhere to run. And if you can tell me that you have a scenario where the Sojourn can then have damage negation for the next, 1 to 2 seconds for Overwatch, that is a ton of time. That's a good 40 to 50 charge that a Sojourn can get up right there, whether it's through a snare, whether it's through then just beaming enemies. The whole point is for Juice, that is completely free real estate for any rail shots over the next 3 seconds. And again, I think it worked out beautifully. St. Clair, Juice, they looked absolutely dominant. Shout out to Zero. He got his Wrecking Ball choice there for like about one team battle, as we had to see Tread had to quickly get back to points. So you choose the Wrecking Ball to quickly play dive to get back onto Lijiang Tower. And honestly, made a really good play too, popping the shields as the Tracer puts the Pulse Bomb on you. And then goes through the window, finds an immediate pick onto the Juno as well. Good stuff there from Tread. Unfortunately, couldn't close that one out as he died on later on. But at the same time, it's not 5v5. It's called 5v5 for a reason. It's not 1v5. So his team were able to find some impactful picks, namely Juice onto the Sombra, and then a solo Pulse Bomb as well that I saw from Razor. So decent pickups from the DPSs there, and then St. Clair, they were able to roll. But now, moving on to Game 2, we do get Soaks and Alex. Something that I will say was a little surprising was to see Red X on the Wu Yang, but it seems like against UTD, Robin is willing to switch things up and give different support players different comps to kind of run them in amongst themselves, right? And so getting Red X some reps on Wu Yang, yes, sure, first map, you know, kind of looked a little bit weird and out of place, but after that, St. Clair, like you guys said, they really locked in, and I think they kind of strapped in their boots and, you know, fixed their posture a little bit.
And it doesn't look like that first map is impacting them at all. I mean, it's been all smiles. Philip especially, I think he's just happy to be there. You know, he's happy to be a part of it. He's glad to be part of the team. And I wonder, do you think, you know, if we saw Red X on the Wu Yang last time, do we see Soaks pop out the Lucio on this one? Are we going to do like a little swap comp here? Are we just going to try and keep things?
I mean, if it's anything Tread said after they took a loss on New Queen Street, I'm going to go ahead and say no.
Yeah, probably.
Because the last time Soaks hopped on Lucio, Tread literally said, oh, yeah, no, he was the reason we lost that. That was horrible.
Sometimes it'd be your own teammates. It really
yeah, you know, it is. And you know what? I mean, to be fair, Tread is always someone who will simply call it as he sees it, right? And for good reason. You can't really beat around the bush if you want to be one of the best. If there's an issue, it has to be addressed, and we have to switch around that. And that's exactly what they did, and that's why they took home that W earlier in the season after they took that loss on New Queen Street. But this is a different scenario, and I think that we're not going to see any mucking about from Soaks. He's glad to be on stream. He's glad to get the reps that he's getting right now, so do not be surprised if we just see them practicing more of that Wu Yang Kiriko combo, which these two have down a little more to a T, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree, and I think we're just about to get get into game here. So we'll see which map it's going to be, whether it is going to be push. Will it be Kings Row? We'll have to see. Clearly, St. Clair has a plan in mind for this next map. Any predictions, Zero?
Predictions. The bane of my existence. I'm going to say I am going to be on the fence on this one. I'm not going to say anything. Patrick has something to say, though.
Yeah, can I butt in here for just 1 second, right? I mean, I think Kings Row is a lock. I'm about to get really overconfident here. And this could totally backfire on me, right? But Rialto looked absolutely insane for St. Clair as well, right? Especially when you mix in the fact that against a former opponent, they literally had a pause, right? And then they got momentum swinging back again. So Rialto was a complete wash. Same thing with Kings Row. Usually it's a confirm. So to me, we start to think about maps that could be a problem. New Queen Street and Hollywood as well. Because on the defense, we saw that St. Clair on the attack weren't looking too good. But now Flashpoint is our game mode. And this is a really fun one because actually, Evan, this is the first time we've seen this on stream so far this year for NACE. So here you go. Flashpoint. St. Clair and UTD have at it.
Yeah, first time we've seen Flashpoint on stream this year, but if you were watching the spring season of NACE from last semester, this is a map specifically that the Saints are really strong on. Flashpoint is another one of their stalwart picks. I mean, Zero is very happy because Tread is going to be picking Wrecking Ball. This is a very good situation for Wrecking Ball. This is a game mode where you really have to move quickly. You know, Flashpoint, you need to move fast because unlike King of the Hill, these points move up a lot quicker than what you would see on like a Lijiang Tower. So if you can get quickly, rotate in, that is exactly the type of hero that you're going to want to see on Flashpoint.
Absolutely right. And this is a great map for Ball because you take so much time on point as Ball. You can hold down a point on your own just by rolling around and moving around as fast as you can, being a hard target to hit. And on top of that, if you have your ult and you drop it on point, that basically forces the team to step back and take out the explosives one by one before they can come back on, or just tank the damage of the explosives. It's a very, very good kind of arena trap move.
Well, we talked about Soap subbing in, but it looks like Noxious also subbing in as well, picking up the Freya. So swapping out for Juice in this one, the lineup we did say was going to be a little different depending on the map. So this is the play that St. Clair was looking to run, but so far UTD, like we saw on Lijiang Tower, they come out with a strong start. And St. Clair, again, have some work to do. Just have to get locked in again to get things rolling in their way.
Yeah, I think you're just right there. I think it's just that the swaps have to get warm again. Maybe get some pre-fire hand warmers in their hands. They might even cool down.
Maybe.
But I think they're going to start picking up at this Flashpoint here. I think we'll see some good things from the subs in this round.
Well, St. Clair still have to get everybody near the point. UTD has numbers on them. Soaks with a big pick onto Eric. It's going to be a good start. That's your Tracer that does fall, but he comes down to Tread, and he's going to fall to Wu Yang. But St. Clair, once again, they start rough, but once I say that Razor coming in with a big triple to save things and salvage it for St. Clair, as now they finally take possession of a Flashpoint, and we'll see if they can match UTD and tie up this score.
Yeah, that was an absolutely amazing move by Razor there to really put his team back in control. And I do notice very quickly, Tread did swap off of the ball pretty fast. Obviously it wasn't working for him, but at least we get that celebrity appearance again, I suppose. And it looks like they're going to be holding this down pretty well so far. UTD tried to push back in, lost Hermosa pretty quick, and they've kind of been playing around the idea of pushing back in, kind of just poking from a distance. Haven't really committed to anything yet. But I think that move is going to be right around the corner when Fone and Abdallah come back right now. I think this is going to be their team push here.
It's going to have to be, because with St. Clair already at 75%, you don't really have a lot of time to waste. I mean, if I'm UTD, I might already be thinking about rotating to the next Flashpoint, because you just don't really have enough time to invest in another push. And if you lose one or two people, like we are seeing right now, that's going to be big for swapping to that next point, because you're
you know, the rest of your team is going to be staggered out. So this is a big pick here. St. Clair could find this pick onto Fone. Does get saved by Zarya, but Noxious is going to take him out before that happens. And now UTD staggered out. St. Clair hopefully can get to the next flashpoint as quick as possible to get a little bit of an advantage, because like we saw there, if you can give them an advantage, they'll take it and they'll hold the point as tight as they can.
You're just right. And St. Clair, as they move to this point, they're trying to poke as much as they can at UTD so that they can have some early pressure on this flashpoint. Wow, Hermosa just gets dropped. And St. Clair, like I said, putting on that early game pressure. They were chasing them up onto point so that they would be low once they got to point, and it seems to be working out for them. Unfortunately now, UTD is posting up on this corner. St. Clair trying to battle their way through and around it.
Point finally activated now. St. Clair and UTD both trying to contest for this point here. Tread putting up the pressure onto Fone. Does use that black hole, but the Kitsune Rush from Hermosa is going to give UTD just a little bit of extra support, but it does not matter as Tread finds Hermosa. That's a big support pick down for UTD. Is now Abdallah trying to save it for UTD. Eric securing the point while the rest of the team was distracted. Noxious still in the way, does find Eric, but still has a tank and a support player to deal with, and it's just not going to happen there. UTD in control of flashpoint number 3, but St. Clair did get some time on it, so if they could retake, wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but still a lot of work to do.
Yeah, and this St. Clair point here, they had it early on and lost it to UTD here. UTD is going to go and try to take this one away, but this is the first flashpoint we've seen that's actually been real back and forth contested. Been in the hands of both teams now, as we see UTD still fighting to keep possession over it as St. Clair tries to break through. And it'll be Tread coming in the back line to try to stealth steal that point, but he's going to get pushed back off as they all retreat back to the point as well. And it's not looking like a good flashpoint for St. Clair here.
Yeah, no, Tread solo pushing there, just didn't have the full support of his team as Razor was an early victim of UTD's defense, so they will be securing this flashpoint. So more work for St. Clair to do. They just haven't had a clean, clean back-to-back flashpoints so far. So they need to go back to the drawing board and figure out the best strategy and the best way to approach this. You're gonna lock in the combo, still gonna keep the comp the same. Just got to make sure you can't leave Tread by himself, because Abdallah's done a really good job, and the rest of UTD as well has done a really good job of getting Tread off the board and making him a non-factor in this game so far. And if you can take care of him and Razor, that's a really good start to taking care of St. Clair. Those are two key pieces of their comp that really lead the charge in most situations.
And that's just it. I mean, early on, St. Clair had some dominance with Tread on Zarya, and that was UTD's biggest problem in the beginning. And so now they've found that answer to Tread, and now Tread's going to have to adapt and change up the plan a bit here. Maybe change the way he's playing on Zarya, or if all else fails, maybe swap. And it doesn't seem like that's going to be necessary, as per usual. I end up eating some words here as almost the entire team goes down for UTD, and St. Clair really reverses the pressure back onto UTD here.
Yeah, that was a really good response from St. Clair to get something to go their way, but just have to keep it going from here. You can't just take this flashpoint and then give up the next one to UTD. You have to make sure you can carry this momentum over onto the next. So I'll have to see if St. Clair can stay firm. You know, some ults will be coming online for UTD fairly soon, but St. Clair does have some of their own. You have that graviton black hole and the pulse bomb to work with potentially, but it doesn't matter. You don't even need them. You use the black hole, but you keep Razor's pulse bomb. That is huge for that team fight. Soaks with 2 to keep the point in St. Clair's control. Razor adding another one to stagger Doi out. Looks like it's going to be St. Clair that ties it up, assuming they can keep it in their control for 10 more percentiles. Looks like it is going to come through. Nobody from UTD even thinking about contesting it. This is a big flashpoint coming up here.
Absolutely. It's now a tie game once again for this round, or for this map. And St. Clair really kicking it up another notch there, hitting another gear to bring back that flashpoint. We saw twice, was it that flashpoint that almost it was an entire team wipe?
Yes. It was some really good team fights. I mean, they had some really bad ones earlier, like especially that first flashpoint where they just couldn't get anything going, but they were able to bring it back just a little bit. You know, UTD bringing that black hole out does find Razor, but the Saints taking the brunt of that black hole. That's a really good team fight you want to win. That isolates one of the ults. Eric using his pulse bomb to take care of Alex, but you still have some ults to work with for yourself. Razor with his pulse bomb in pocket. Alex falls, but he is close to a Kitsune rush as well. St. Clair in control early. And like we've seen, if they take control early and just keep this defense stout, they should be able to hold here. Tread still trying to farm for energy for his laser. Not too far away from his ult either, but Zari's ult does charge incredibly slow, so it won't be anytime soon. But you still have the pulse bomb and the Kitsune rush to work with, at least for the time being.
Absolutely. You have stuff available to you, and once again, another team fight just a moment ago, won by St. Clair, where 4 out of 5 were killed, and now we're getting into another big team fight here. 2 already down for UTD. Eric is going to respawn though, so it's going to be some pressure nonetheless, but not massive pressure that's going to truly detriment UTD. And St. Clair really holding down this point. He needs to recapture it though now, as UTD has gained control of it. And what really happened there? Because UTD lost quite a few players, but got the point.
It was an expensive team fight for St. Clair. You did have to invest Tread's black hole to hold that, and Alex's Kitsune rush got used out as well. But UTD just able to stand firm. Some big picks coming through on their end to keep them in this game. St. Clair do have ults potentially to respond with. Noxious with Freya's Soaks close to his support ult to start that charge, start that team fight, and he is going to pop it here. This is a really big push for St. Clair. You have to think that this is for all the marbles right here. If you can't get this one, it might not be looking good for the rest of this map potentially. We'll see if St. Clair can take control. They do, but UTD nipping at their heels. They're ready to push back in.
Absolutely, and St. Clair does, like you say, does get the point, but it's still a long climb for St. Clair to take this flashpoint, and they have to keep the point for that whole time. And already it's contested again.
Yeah, that's just not good if you're a St. Clair fan. I mean, that black hole coming through basically stalls out any chance. Razor trying to contest a little bit. Tread swapping the ball to maybe get back in time, but don't think St. Clair has enough time. Tread just barely getting held out. UTD, a scrappy win on Flashpoint to tie the series up 1-1.
That was an impressive game from them. Patrick, I see you. Oh, you're going to take a sip of water. My mistake. You're going to go now. I see you grinning over there. You seem like you've got something to say.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that is the first, obviously, map that we've seen St. Clair fumble. And it makes sense, right? Because after UTD take an L on the first map of Lijiang Tower, right, on domination, they then immediately swap up to a game mode that we haven't seen the Saints play on stream. And, you know, of Saints of old, yes, they were a very good Flashpoint team, but who knows? Maybe UTD have done their research, as, you know, clearly St. Clair rusty on Flashpoint, as UTD do good to tie that series up. Really well done there from them and company, as now St. Clair, they have the luxury of doing something they've never done before, at least in NACE Fall, and that is that they get to pick the next game mode on the next map. And if you're St. Clair, what do you go through with? What's your best pick for me right now? I want to get predictions from you, Evan, and you, Zero.
I mean, you know what I'm going to say. It's going to be Hybrid King's Room. I mean,
they read my mind perfectly.
They just dominate on that side. I mean, I think UTD's strength from what we've seen is they're able to adapt quickly, and they're able to match the pace that St. Clair is trying to play at. There are some fights here, especially these last couple team fights, where UTD just had a response like quickly, right? They're able to farm Zarya's ult. Abdallah has been doing a really good job in keeping UTD in these fights. I mean, that black hole at the end, that was the reason why UTD was able to secure that, because that black hole holding St. Clair as far out as it was, you don't give them any chance to, you know, think about making a comeback. As we get some more roster swaps in, as Radx coming back in for Soaks.
I'm not sure if Juice and Noxious swapped out. It looks like they did. I do see Juice sitting back down on the desk. So bit of a more comfortable comp for St. Clair now. Maybe that substitution play didn't work out the way they were hoping to, but
I was going to say the substitution play might have not worked out, but for Soaks, it definitely did. Take a look. He's in a secret lab chair right now. Well, Juice is just sitting in one of the open gaming lab chairs as well. How has Soaks gotten away with that? He's absolutely just staying Juice's chair.
Man, we need some stage admin to
and he must be
to
none,
fix that
I was gonna say
now.
has to be none too pleased, but
my boy's got to be locked in right now. He's the DPS hit scan. He can't be sitting in an inferior chair right now while Soaks is sitting on the bench. Maybe that was part of his. Maybe that impacted his performance. Who knows? But I think when you talk about the map that they're going to respond with, I would hope it would be the hybrid Kings Row, because like we said, they have been so dominant on that side, and you really need a big win now because you can't afford to drop another map to UTD. You know, you need to just retake momentum back in the series. You know, they were a bit annoying on Lijiang Tower. You know, they were putting up a really good fight, but St. Clair was able to reestablish their dominance. They just have to find it again and tap into that, and they should be fine.
Right. I mean, in terms of lineup that we do expect to see, I mean, Brendan, I look to you, obviously, right, being on Kings Row. We take a look at some of the prior lineups we've seen come out, right? A lot of Hazard that we see usually on Tread. Yes, Wrecking Ball has been there before, but I doubt that he's going to be making an appearance again. I think after UTD has especially taken a map off of St. Clair, I think they're kind of ticked off now. And I don't think we're going to be seeing, if I had to predict, any more substitutions later on tonight. I think they really want to just get this one over with. So these next 2 games, I would be shocked if it isn't just starting roster through and through. That being said, I really would expect to see maybe a switch up here. If they want to keep the Zarya combo with the Reaper, they can. But that being said, I think that St. Clair look real good when they're running the Hazard on Tread on Kings Row. But that's just my take. What do you think in terms of tank comp that we're going to be seeing Tread tap into?
I think you're on the mark right there. I think we're going to see some Hazard play here. I think that's going to really gain them some real good map control.
I think I got a message from Prod. I couldn't tell if it was something about if we were on or not on Kings Row. Yes,
Kings
going.
Row.
Okay, so it has been confirmed. So
As
our prediction
expected.
is on the mark for now. I was going to say, I'd be pretty shocked if we weren't going to Kings Row here. But yes, you were saying, Brendan, sorry, about the Hazard.
I was actually finishing up that note, but I do want to know something else. On Monday, we talked about who had the worst keyboard lean.
Right, the tilt, yes.
The tilt.
What have you found?
Soaks.
Soaks, immediately, just Soaks. You saw it as he was getting up and leaving?
Yeah. When they did the swap at the end of the game there. Actually, I saw it the last time it was played.
Can you
POV.
tilt your laptop in the exact tilt that you saw Soaks had his keyboard?
I believe it was Soaks. I'm 90% sure it was Soaks. It was like that.
That's not actually
That's not
that
It wasn't.
crazy.
It wasn't any vertical, but it was.
I was gonna say
a good,
I've seen some vertical keyboards before in my days of casting Rainbow Six Siege. That is not the worst. That's definitely not the worst. So
it's definitely the worst on the team.
Sure, but you know what? Listen, I mean, when you're thinking about hand position and everything, I think he gets away with it. The one I don't understand is vertical. Vertical makes no sense to me.
Having your
I don't
elbow
get
90
it.
degrees.
Absolute, just demons.
Well, if you're talking
devil
about,
spawn.
If you're talking about vertical keyboards, Slacks, the offer for M80, the CS team, he is a full vertical.
Fire him.
Well, no, he's good.
Drop
man.
him from the team.
You can't get rid of him. He's a key part of that lineup.
Absolute
heresy.
heresy.
I think at the end of the day, you play whatever, you play however you're most comfortable, and I think the Saints right now need to be comfortable.
Unless it looks weird. I'm a vertical keyboard hater.
Okay, well, we're not going to judge you. No, we can't do that.
No.
But
Atrocities right
at the
there.
end of the day, you need to be comfortable, and I think if the Saints want to ensure a win in this series, they need to be comfortable, and we're seeing a comfortable map pick come through with Kings Row, so hopefully they'll feel a bit more at home. I mean, their patented aggressive playstyle really plays well in hybrid, and especially if they start on attack, which hopefully they will. That's, what we're going to see. We just want to see an aggressive first take on site, just
get Tread in there as quickly as possible, get Redix and the Lucio, give everybody a speed boost, just try and push the tempo as much as you can, push UTD back to spawn as far as they can, don't even let them get close to the payload, and that should be a recipe for success.
Absolutely, and we're just that's unfortunate. Tongue is not moving as fast as my brain, unfortunately. There, we did receive word that we were starting, but it looks like it's otherwise now. So, guess you get to talk a bit more about some.
Oh, I think they're going in actually. I think we're just swapping for a second. I do see the. I think I see the hero select screen there, so it shouldn't be much longer. As like we said, the team, we know what the map that's coming through. They, the boys look fairly composed. Nothing should, be raising any panic alarms so far. Just business as usual. Just take care of it. Like we said, good teams find a way to win and take care of their business, and that's exactly what the Saints are going to do right now.
Looks like
they're starting on defense. It looks like, if I'm looking at Juice's monitor correctly.
Seems to be, yes. And I do notice Redix there and Juice. They have a bit of keyboard tilt as well. Only looks about 15 to 25 degrees, so that's not so bad, but it is there as well. We're going to be doing this like all the time now. We're going to be picking apart everyone's keyboard tilt, aren't we?
It's just that's a pro gamer move if I've ever seen one, and these guys definitely are professional Overwatch players. So
what you know about Dilducks? What you know
do
about
I know
Dilducks?
about Dilducks? That's a great question. We'll come back to that after, potentially, because I think we will be swapping into game right now. So we'll have to wait for that conversation. Map 3, Kings Row. Saints are indeed starting on defense. A bit of an interesting combo here. Tread swapping to D.Va. Redx is padded to the Lucio. But we get some interesting stuff coming out of UTD. Some Junker Queen trying to lead the charge. We'll see if Abdallah can get some things going here. Eric swapping to the Genji. Trying to keep things rolling for UTD, because again, they have the ability to make stuff happen. You cannot count these guys out. They have the ability to surprise you.
They absolutely do. And very early on, we see a lot of big clash on point here. And it looks like UTD is going to take some early deaths here. And it's not going to be traded either. Eric very low. Hermosa healing right now. Abdullah very low as well. And St. Clair just gets to hold down this point with relative ease right now. They are on defense, correct?
Yes, sir. Juice, this is a big point. This is a big point for Juice. I mean, if you can get your hit scan DPS just cooking on Kings Row defense, it is absolutely going to be locked down. So a lot of pressure on Juice to get things going. Redx falling to the Venture. The other swap that UTD is trying to bring to the table here. Venture, another character you don't see as often in the competitive scene, so UTD trying to change things up. Looks like it has been working out for them. Another mirror match with Tanks is Abdallah swapping to D.Va as well. Venture, good for creating space in Brawl to separate some of these other DPS characters, and right now it's doing really good work for UTD because they are going to be able to capture this point after what looked like a stout St. Clair defense, but is not meant to be. As St. Clair on the back foot now, UTD on the move.
Yeah, UTD will capture that point and begin to escort the payload. And right away here, they're pushing up quite far, pushing St. Clair back to get some early length room here, get that payload escorted a good distance without too much pressure on them. But St. Clair is going to regroup and start to head in, so they're going to be cutting them off shortly here and finding and picking their spot to fight back against that. Unfortunately, though, Juice goes down rather quick as this team fight begins. Redx needs to carry some healing here for his team, but he is also being pressured as well. Eric is going to go down for UTD though, so we are going to balance out a bit here as Juice is going to be on his way back. But it is going to be some pandemonium on point as they clash for some control here.
Yeah, we got double Kitsune rushes coming out. St. Clair, all ults online, so everything is on the table. This would be a really good time for a big team push to try and get control back of the payload. Tread does pop his D.Va bomb, but doesn't find anybody. Does bring UTD off the point a little bit. Tread back into Baby Diva mode rather quickly, getting taken out. Fone, again, that Venture has just been running the floor. St. Clair has had no response for this. That might be a sleeper pick for UTD that St. Clair just had no game plan for, because right now UTD has just been pushing the payload rather easily. I would say this is usually St. Clair's patent and calling card, but they're kind of getting it slapped back in their face right now, and St. Clair scrambling for an answer as more ults come through for UTD. That beat drop going to make it really hard to win this team fight. Another one coming through for Redix. Might be a bit of a panic ult to try and salvage this team fight, but not much going their way as UTD, yes, they get pushed back, but still have full numbers as Eric getting eliminated. That is a big pick for St. Clair. Something finally going their way. That Dragon Blade taken off the board, but UTD responding with 2 picks. Alex trying to save things. Another support player going down for UTD. Alex trying his damnedest to salvage something for St. Clair, trying to keep UTD off while his teammates are returning to the fight. Juice is back now. St. Clair still trying to hold pat.
And finally that Venture goes down. Just so much time taken by that Venture holding it down for UTD. And I will say, I do not enjoy going against Venture when I play. It is a very troublesome pick for a character. Venture can be a very good sort of rat pick to really mess with the enemy team and buy time for your own team. I have a good friend here at the college who plays a lot of Venture, and every time I see them play, they're just ratting around and making a fuss for the other team.
Well, that is the patent for that character. And I mean, clearly it's doing dividends for UTD as another Kitsune rush coming in from Alex. UTD still not at the next checkpoint yet, 0.33 meters left to go. St. Clair doing a good job at delaying this push, but UTD back with a vengeance, trying to find these picks to come through. Tread, that Diva just not doing anything for him. Eric finding 3. UTD with another strong team fight. St. Clair once again left scrambling and picking up the pieces of another failed team fight. Gonna have to go back to the drawing board because UTD right now, quite frankly, I will say it, has looked like the better team in this series.
Yeah, this is not looking good for St. Clair so far. They do still have a chance to stop this, but they got to make their move now. This was a St. Clair pick that they were sure of, and now it's just blown right back in their face, and it's not looking great. Razor drops pretty soon here as well, and they have lost all offense or defensive pressure that they had as UTD just keeps moseying along with this little soiree they've begun.
It's not over yet. I mean, St. Clair does have a chance to attack and match energy that UTD has brought to the table, but really it comes down to Fone swapping to the Venture. I mean, that really has been the big thing that's been impacting. Eric as well has been huge for UTD in this game, and Abdallah again, we've seen some fantastic tank play. I mean, Abdallah has outplayed Tread in all scenarios, I think, when you really take a look at it. And St. Clair, like we said, they need to really go back to the drawing board or just lock back in, because right now UTD just has their number in every sense. Tread, an ult to work with, could potentially use it to create some space, but would be a really telegraphed ult. Is going to use it there just to save it and get back in mech quickly, but not finding anything or making any sort of an impact on the payload. Tread finding 1 pick with some melee. Redx joining in. DPS Lucio. Juice finally getting online with another pick. This is a good look for St. Clair. Could help the hold, but damage might already be done. And with 47 seconds left to go, no ults online for UTD right now, but you have to think that they'll be online soon and they're going to be pushing very hard.
Yeah, absolutely. And St. Clair really found their groove here as they're stopping UTD in their tracks seemingly. But like you said, that Venture is about to have their ult, and I believe they're going to pop it as soon as they are in there in a position where they can use it. But St. Clair has the opportunity to hold this out to 2 points and not let the 3 points go through.
Abdallah, though, going to make it interesting for UTD, trying to create as much space for the rest of the team. Not sure what happened there, but we continue. We press on. Alex, his
This Kitsune Rush does come through. Tread does have his ult to work with again. That's a lot of blue in the kill feed. That's going to be great for St. Clair, but UTD will not be denied. That Diva Bomb coming through from Abdallah, but not going to find anything. Hilariously telegraphed Diva Bomb to give St. Clair the time to retreat, but 2 checkpoints for UTD, so St. Clair does have some work to do if they want to finish this one off, but I think now you at least know what you need to do. I think I would much rather be in this situation if I was St. Clair, because you know exactly what you need to do to get the job done and get the win.
Absolutely, and I mean, this was St. Clair's map pick. They're comfortable on this map, so I believe that 2 points was all they needed to know they have a shot. I think they're going to be comfortable with the fact that they are on their favored map, and they should be able to close out 3 points here and take this one back, I would believe.
No, they should be able to. I mean, it just all comes down to, like we said, just locking in on the offensive side. And, you know, we've seen some good plays coming out from both sides, but UTD has proven to be a tougher opponent, I think, than St. Clair was expecting. And it's been giving them trouble all night. So they need to find a solution that works for them to get the job done, no matter what it is. Going back to the drawing board, changing the comp up a little bit, just figure out the best way to get it done effectively and take care of your business. That's what you need to get done.
Absolutely, and I'm sure they're going to be thinking about that venture in the back of their minds. They might have already made up a plan to handle that venture if it does show back up here. And it does look like Fone is going to stick with the venture. So hopefully they did get a contingency in place between these rounds. Hopefully they talked it out and said to each other, hey, what can we do about this? What can we do to change this? This venture has been way too big of a problem and we need to handle it. And very quickly though, Juice going down as Tread really comes out in the middle here to try and buy some time for his team, take a lot of the attention on himself. And it does not seem to be working as Alex also goes down. And UTD very quickly establishing their presence here, saying, no, you guys aren't going to have this very easily. We're here to play.
No, they did come to play. And like I said, St. Clair, they've been stalled out again, but they do get onto the point quickly. So it's... But again, UTD with this strong and quick response on their side. St. Clair still looking for answers, but 2 picks coming in from St. Clair. That's going to be a good way to start this push coming through. Razor swapping to the Genji, does find somebody, does find Doi. Have to get rid of the venture. That pick does come through. St. Clair with a team kill, and they're going to get this. They're going to get this point.
Absolutely, they do take that from UTD, and was it Juice there saying it is pizza time, apparently. Hitting the pizza emote, love to see that. A little bit of confidence on the court here. And St. Clair is finally going to get their chance to escort this payload, and now you can see the response from St. Clair to UTD's 2 points. And very quickly, UTD putting on the pressure, stopping them, really kind of picking a, like, firing line here, saying you will not pass this point. We are going to hold you here. Can St. Clair break through? They do have everybody on the point, so it is going to be moving forward as long as it stays uncontested. But UTD not going to let them through this gateway.
Yeah, this is a really tough shove point early, so the Saints have to make sure they can push UTD back. That Kitsune rush from Alex is going to pay dividends to get it going. Razor almost having his Dragon Blade online. That's going to be another big piece of this puzzle here in trying to solve UTD's defense. But right now, the Saints have been able to hold firm, and they've been able to get a lot of progress. You just have to watch out for these ults coming in from the side of UTD, a Kitsune Rush and a Diva ult to work with on their side. So it is going to be a battle of the ults when it comes through, but St. Clair, almost all ults online, so a lot of flexibility in terms of how you want to do this. Juice is going to have to wait a little bit longer. That beat drop and the Kitsune Rush coming through for UTD to stall them out just a little bit longer, but the Saints did get a good bit of progress on this payload. Tread finding one, the Dragon Blade from Razor. Swiping, no swiping allowed on this side. Does get rid of Diva for the most part. Is going to waste that bomb for Abdallah. That's a big ult off the table. See if they can at least push UT just a little bit more so they can get this last remaining meters for this checkpoint.
Absolutely, and we are seeing that from St. Clair now. They're getting this point really close to. I would like to point out, Fone, changing to a character I talked about briefly on Monday, does come out with the Mei pick, and that's a very interesting comp. I don't think you see Mei very often in competitive, am I right? No, yeah.
No, Mei is a bit of an off pick, but still very effective. You have an ability to be good up close. You can also have some long range abilities with those icicles. Is now Eric getting up close with his Dragon Blade, trying to say hello. Does find Juice, but that is going to be it as the Saints do not fall for the rest of that Dragon Blade. Tread with another good pick. That's Eric falling. Tread now really trying to push the pace, and St. Clair almost at the winning position. Just have to get through these last couple members, have some ults to work with. That Diva ult is going to slow UTD just a little bit, and they just have to get a couple more meters, and then they will win Kings Row here. Just have to keep it going. Juice. The Juice is loose. He does find Eric. That's a second pick for him, trying to hold off Abdallah. He does do it. St. Clair, after a rocky start again on Kings Row, come back and take a 2-1 series lead.
I guess that's why this is their comfort map. I mean, it looked pretty bad early on when UTD scored those 2 points, but St. Clair does not worry about it. They said, no, that's fine. They didn't get 3, there's still big opportunity here. And they prove why this is their comfort map. They come back and they push far enough to take this one from UTD. Very, very impressive feat.
Absolutely was. I mean, Smoke, you were sort of going back and forth, just between writing notes diligently. I saw you writing the entire time, so you must have a lot to say about what we saw on Kings Row.
Absolutely. I mean, give credit to UTD, especially Fone, right? Immediately jumping out with the Venture, and you could kind of see that St. Clair looked very awkward, and this pick allowed Fone and UTD to really excel in the brawl, right? When you have both divas there and the defense matrix is going down, Fone just goes around that and isolates picks. We saw that they were really good at creating space between teammates, and that's something that Venture really excels at, right? And so putting out really high damage at a close range, getting in personal, splitting up the team, that's something that UTD did that was working for them. And honestly, splitting the team up, finding isolated picks, that's why kind of they won Flashpoint, right? At the same time, they were able to get St. Clair staggered a little bit, and because of that, that's how they were able to take rounds. So you could definitely see that they wanted to feed into that playstyle a little bit longer, but then St. Clair had the hold of a lifetime, and it really was a complete turn of the tables, right? UTD, you're even calling them the better team in the series so far, and at the time, they definitely looked it. But then St. Clair, they had the near spawn, which was what they needed in order to stave off one of the hardest chokes to get through if you are an attacking team. So, again, they were able to get the job done in 2, and on offense, St. Clair, undeniable. The Venture, no longer someone who you really want on the defense, not really someone who can give you too much working backwards as opposed to going forwards, so you switch onto the Mei, and unlucky for UTD, that pick just simply did not go through very well for them.
Well, some bad news potentially if you're a St. Clair Overwatch enjoyer, because it's going to be New Queen Street coming up. We know there are some weaknesses for the Saints on this map, but remember,
I don't see Soaks on the
yes, last time that happened,
I joke.
Soaks was on the desk instead of Redx, so now having that Lucio in push might be the difference maker, but again, UTD definitely is not a team that you can just let go by. They have been, maybe not the better team anymore, but they have absolutely matched the energy of St. Clair, and they have proven that they have come to play today. They are not going down without a fight.
I mean, you know what? UTD have very far surpassed my expectations. I'm so proud of them already. Taking not only a map off of St. Clair, but even making them look dicey on their pick on the defense, too, of Kings Row, which, again, Kings Row, a map that people would much rather, if anything, defend right now than attack. So, historically speaking, at least. So, as far as, unless a meta shift has happened, again, UTD looked very good so far on Kings Row. They've looked very good tonight in general, and now on a New Queen Street as well, it's going to be their pick, and for good reason. That being said, on an interview with Redx, we heard that New Queen Street's actually one of his favorite maps. Damn shame that in that stream we didn't end up going there. But now you can finally see that they will have the opportunity to do so as an insanely cookage observer angle catches whatever was in that pip. That was amazing. Great stuff. We love our prod back room.
I think that was a big statue of some type of Omnic. I think I have never seen that on New Queen Street, so obviously I don't pay enough attention to detail on the maps. But it looks like you're right here. They did not do any more roster changes. So they are going to be sticking with main roster for what seems like, hopefully, for St. Clair's sake, the rest of the game.
Pretty similar comps for both sides. The only difference being you have Juice on the Sojourn and Phone on Reaper, which was really doing well for UTD early, but as soon as I say that, Razor opens up with a double. Good start for St. Clair. I really want them to see them get aggressive on New Queen Street. You know, you have Redx, you know, you talk about how much he loves this map. I want to see it. I want to see some offensive Lucio plays right there. That's exactly what we got right there as Redx finds a pick. I really want to see Redx get cooking and just bully people up close with Lucio.
Absolutely, and this is a very good map for Lucio as well. There's a lot of things for him to bounce off of, especially because it's such a linear map. There's just such direct routes throughout.
Absolutely. Gonna have to see how UTD can respond. You know, they've been able to match St. Clair's energy so far, but right now, a good start for St. Clair, but UTD contesting on the robot, do take control, but St. Clair does get some progress early. Tread, though, on the front line, the vanguard for St. Clair, trying to absorb as much damage as he can. Phone trying to get into the back line, is going to have to TP out, but Juice does get the headshot on him before he can manifest and get away. That's another big pick for St. Clair early, as now Redx retakes control of the robot and gets it back moving in the Saints' preferred direction.
Absolutely, and we're going to see a big game from Redx here. I could almost guarantee it. He is going to be very comfortable on this map, I think. He already seems to be very much in the zone on Lucio here, bouncing around. He's already gotten some picks. He's put a lot of attacking pressure on the opponent, a lot of damage output as well. And it's just such a decent, good pick for this map.
It really is beautiful to watch a pro Lucio at work. The movement tech can get so crazy. It's a character that's easy to learn, but hard to master, and clearly Redx has mastered Lucio. Oh, big pick from Tread there. That's Abdallah falling. That tank for UTD, that is the catalyst for every single push that they set. A team kill coming through for St. Clair. That's a really good opportunity for them to get a lot of progress on the robot. They're going to unlock the advanced spawn as well, so this is a very advantageous situation for St. Clair, especially if they can keep this pressure up, which they have been so far.
Absolutely, and Redx just applying so much pressure on this Lucio. I mean, he's just going straight after Phone. That is something you don't expect to see very often, given that Reaper can dish out so much damage up close. But Redx does not fear it. He just jumps right in there and pushes him away.
St. Clair, you can tell they just want to get this done and dusted. They took that personally, I think, losing Flashpoint, and you are really starting to see it now. This ultra aggressive play style is really starting to pay dividends for them, but UTD, 2 picks in response. That Death Blossom only finding 1. That gives UTD an opportunity to push the robot back a little bit and stall St. Clair's progress. Still not enough to lose the advanced spawn. St. Clair has some time to get back and contest. See Juice swapping back to Sojourn now, trying to keep it rolling. Here they are close. Oh, they did lose the advanced spawn, as now UTD and their robot is on the move.
Yep. It's going to be a small misfortune there for St. Clair as they do lose that advanced spawn, as you said. But they are going to be regrouping here and starting to make their move. An ult did go out there. Is that Hermosa's ult there for UTD, trying to keep that pressure going, and it's now going to end, and now we may see a pushback from St. Clair. Things to look out for, though. Eric does have that bomb at the ready. Razor does too, though. So both Tracers do have that bomb in their pocket, ready to use. And we're going to see another couple ults ready in the short distance here. Alex almost has his, and unfortunately, UTD not really close to any more of their ults.
No, besides Eric. I mean, you look at St. Clair, they have to get something rolling here because UTD was able to get a lot of progress on the robot, but good attempts at a stall. Juice finding Eric. Eric has been a thorn in the side of St. Clair all game now. Tread does find Fone. I thought he was going to be able to get away, but he wasn't able to escape Tread's Death Star laser as St. Clair once again take control of the robot, alleviate some of that pressure that UTD was going to put on them. And look how far St. Clair is going to push this. They are really aggressive right now and trying to push UTD as far back as possible, trying to get that advanced spawn at least to make this just a little easier for them right now. Advanced spawn has now been unlocked.
Absolutely. And that was an impressive play by St. Clair to reapply that pressure. And now they're just going to want to fight in this zone. They're going to want to keep it in the blue and not have that go back to the center point. So this is where St. Clair is going to be trying to make their play. But Juice goes down, Red X goes down, everyone else kind of low on health. They will have to regroup. Alex goes down as well. They will need to regroup here. And Razor goes down as well. Tread goes down. And suddenly, St. Clair on a back burner here. They need to find their way back into this and not let UTD back into this game.
It was a valiant effort from Tread. He was doing all he could to stall out, did have to use his black hole as well, but just not enough. UTD too strong on that team fight. Again, this is what we've seen. This has been a very back and forth series. St. Clair with the lead, but UTD has been nipping at their heels the entire time and staying in the series for as long as they can. Saints had control of the robot. UTD back to contest right in this middle contesting zone. Does flip back on the side of St. Clair. So they're still able to hold pat, but the score line still very close. Push is a game mode where you can get an advantage early, but it is so easy to lose that advantage if you lose a bunch of team fights in a row. St. Clair have to make sure they can stay clean on these fights here. Try and burn some of these ults from UTD. That black hole not being used as effectively as it could is going to help, but Fone with the Death Blossom onto Red X. St. Clair now down a support player. That is going to make it tough.
That is detrimental for St. Clair. And this is just one of those game modes. I guess you could argue most game modes are this way, but momentum goes a long way. And you gain some early game momentum in this game mode, and it's hard to come back for that. So UTD is going to have a hard time coming back from that, but it is possible, especially when momentum is gained and lost through team fights. And UTD just has seemed to have been doing very good in the team fights this game for the most part. And St. Clair has kind of been stumped the last little while. They haven't moved the robot anymore. They've retained the robot to stop UTD from getting too far with it. But they haven't had any solid pressure back into the zone.
Response is coming and on the way from St. Clair. The reinforcements have arrived to stall UTD once again, but the damage has been done. 2:18 left on the clock for UTD to make any sort of push to potentially find victory, but St. Clair trying their best to hold firm. They do have control, just have to get rid of Fone on the Reaper. He is another problem that they have to deal with and try and keep under control. That's a good start as Razor takes him off the board for the time being. St. Clair on the move once again. A minute 51 to go. They just have to push it up as far as they can and try and hold UTD as close to their spawn as possible, and then this should be a win for them. Juice getting taken out by that pulse spawn, but that's an okay pick to take through. You waste Eric's ult, you do lose one of your DPS players, but the team fight still continues. Abdallah is going to fall as well as Tread takes care of him. Saints still in control of the robot, and they do get into the advanced spawn once again. Really good opportunity, a pulse bomb and a black hole potentially coming up for St. Clair.
You're absolutely right. They do have that in their pocket ready to use. And I wonder, with only about a minute left and the robot being pushed, what's going to come first? Is it going to be timeout or robot push all the way? I guess we're going to find out here as the entire team is on this robot to push it to this point.
Well, I think Tread might have misclicked there. I'm not sure if that black hole hit anybody. That could be something that will be a major thing to look back on, as now Abdallah using their black hole in response does find Tread, and now UTD on the move once again. That could have been a massive miscue from Tread. I don't know where that black hole was going at all. That was, that could be major for St. Clair, as now UTD in what looked like a surefire win for St. Clair is now looking a little hairy. You can either say it was a mistake or panic from the side of Tread, but St. Clair just has to stay firm and weather the storm because you have 23 seconds left. A lot of blue in the kill feed coming through for St. Clair. That's exactly what you want to see. A team kill coming through that should seal the deal, barring a last-second contest from UTD. 10 seconds left for that to come through, though.
I think there may be just enough time for their Lucio to possibly contest this and get their team in on it. I guess we'll see here with 3 seconds left, but will anyone come through? It will be contested. Overtime is happening, and we are going to see this game drag on a little bit longer. It will not go down so easily.
Oh, big stick from Razor, but it's not enough to kill Abdallah as he uses that shield to defend himself a little bit more, but more picks coming through for St. Clair. Juice, the icing on the cake, another team kill. St. Clair, a scrappy, hard-fought victory against UTD. Well done from everybody.
That was an excellent, excellent finish for St. Clair. The use of the very end ults there really sealed the deal for them. Especially Juice's final ult to seal the deal in those last two really put this game to bed. But let's talk about that Miss Zarya ult. That was interesting. Was it a misclick? Was it a panic?
I mean, we don't really have to talk about.
I guess it didn't matter
Probably
in the
one
end,
that
but
Tread's gonna want to forget. But at the end of the day, you know what? The job got done. I mean, again, I actually even wrote a note on it the second I saw that there. I'm like, ooh, a minute 52 left. Oh, Pulse Bomb plus Graviton Surge. And you know what? At the same time, I was just waiting for it. There was so much hype building up around it, and, well, you know what? Mistakes happen. But one thing that isn't a mistake are your victors. St. Clair, no mistake about it. 3-1 your scoreline. All credit to UTD, though, because no matter what, they made this series a closer one than anyone has before in NACE of Fall. So right now, so far, they are the ones who have given St. Clair their toughest run as of yet. That being said, I think it was very clear to us the second I saw them put the starters back in. Kind of had a feeling after they took that one, it was like, yeah, we really don't want to risk 5 here. We're just going to keep them in the whole way. And, I mean, I think we can really mark it down. Redx on New Queen Street on stream, 1-0.
goated on stream. The goated Lucio player. I mean, like you said, it was close. I mean, that was a very exciting series, all things considered. I mean, I could see a world where UTD does in fact win some of those team fights and takes push. I mean, it very well could have happened, but again, elite talent comes through to save the day for St. Clair, and they are happy for it. I mean, Shred, big impact there with Zarya. Redx, big game from him. Juice, everybody on the team just contributing as well. Like we said, once they really started to lock in and get a lot of progress on the robot, you could tell that they really wanted that one badly. Absolutely. And so far, like, I mean, not so far, but they had a really good showing, especially near the end. You know, you could talk about the missed Graviton Surge, you know, but it's water under the bridge now.
It's not important.
It's not important. It didn't lead to anything detrimental. It just made it a little bit more interesting at the end.
UTD, though, did make this very interesting. It was a very, very good showing from UTD. They made this a good show. And I honestly think they might be saying, you haven't seen the last of us here. I don't know if they'll be playing St. Clair again during the season, but I think given what we've seen today, it's not entirely
out of the realm of possibility.
Out of the realm of possibility.
Perhaps.
That's it. Yes.
Yes.
That they are tournament bound near the end. It's too soon to say, of course, but a showing like that, maybe they're a more powerful team than records say.
No, I was definitely impressed by what I saw. I mean, I think we were expecting a bit of an easier series. I think Soaks at the pre-show, I mean, he was fairly confident. I think we went over time, Philip. You know, you said 40 minutes. I think we did go over, but, you know, here is our MVP for tonight. It's Redx. I mean, it has to be for that big performance on New Queen Street. 9-4 with 17 assists on Lucio is crazy, by the way. You know, that's not what you're trying to farm for Lucio. Locked in? I definitely think so. What about you, Patrick?
Yeah, I mean, I think absolutely he's locked in, as he's going to also have an interview for us very shortly. I think that Redx, you know, a big part of what the team was able to do on Kings Row as well when it came to that hold. That's definitely something that I want to get some more insight on, as well as the fact that, you know what, the guy pulled up. New Queen Street, no problem.
He called his shot.
He did.
You
got to give him credit. But we're going to find out some more answers from him right here as we have Redx for you on the desk. Redx, How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing great.
Yeah, you know, I want to ask some quick questions about, obviously, on Kings Row. You guys were coming off of that Flashpoint loss, and there was a venture that was giving you guys quite a lot of problems. On that last choke, right, what adjustments did you make in order to kind of get under UTD's skin and have that hold? Was it near spawn, or was there anything else going on?
I think we just started trying. I don't know. That's about it.
That's
wow. Cut and dry, I guess.
Fair play.
You know, we were talking about how excited you were last stream to potentially play New Queen Street as Lucio. We didn't get to see it on Monday, but we get to see it this time, and that was the difference maker. So what was your mentality going into New Queen Street? I mean, UTD was giving you guys some troubles in some of the early maps. So what did you guys need to do to really just lock down defensively?
I think I just told the team to press W on the first fight, and we did, and then they just died. So that's about it. You know, I'm just shooting them, and they die. That's about it.
Hey, sometimes that's all it takes. You know, sometimes the simple answer is the answer. In this case, it was.
Absolutely. Sometimes simple is best. I want to ask, you're a big Lucio player. Is New Queen Street your favorite map to play Lucio for the movement?
I wouldn't say it's one of my favorite maps to play Lucio on, but I do like I just have like some good strats on that map that you need to be on Lucio to do, I think, or Juno. But I don't know. I think New Queen Street's an overhated map, to be honest. A lot of people don't like it, but I think it's probably one of the better push maps, but people seem to dislike it, but I disagree.
I would agree with that.
And I want to ask you one last thing here, Red X, right? Let's just stir the pot a little bit, as it was 3-1, obviously. You not active for the game that was lost on Flashpoint. Can you tell me right there, watching from the sidelines, what went wrong for the team and why you guys weren't able to get it done in 3-0 fashion? As Philip said, this one should have taken under 40 minutes.
Philip's a noob. That's all I got to say. It's Philip's fault, even though he had only 2 deaths on the map. I don't know what happened. I was a little bit, I wasn't really watching, to be honest, but I was there supporting my team, you know, and that's about all.
That's all that matters.
That's all I got to do, you know.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us on the desk here, Red X, and
no problem.
Calling many more of your matches.
Have a great night, you guys. Have a great night.
Thank you.
No problem. I'm very
I guess we'll never know what he said.
I was going to say, that's going to do it for us here on stream as well.
Yes, that is going to do it. Can I do sponsors this time?
Yeah, go for it.
Right.
I've already said them.
Oh, thanks, man. Well, we are going to shout out sponsors, like I said, but before that, we're going to make sure we shout out, once again, the Prod team in the back. They've been working their tail off to get this this doubleheader stream going, so we got to shout out everybody in the back. You know, Hayden, Owen, 2 Owens back there today. Carl's back there. Adrian's been around. Am I forgetting anybody else?
I think Wyatt as well.
I think Garrett's back there as well. Garrett's back there. Wyatt's back there. I won't miss Wyatt this time. I know he was a little upset last time. I did say Carl already. They're yelling at me, but I did say Carl like 3 times now. But yes, that is going to do it for us. We'll do the sponsor segment quick. Thank you very much to Alienware, Tim Hortons, Subway, the St. Clair SRC and Alumni Association, Onezo, and of course, Pre-Fire. How could we forget them? And what do we say, everybody? Thank you, sponsors. All right, that is going to do it. I've been Evan. This has been Zero. This has been Smoke Chambers. You all know who we are. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great night, guys.